You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow, today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 19 and episode number 4,122. Pretty short. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are in the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, the Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack.
Drinking it back. All right, here we go. Indiana woman busted at the Chicago airport with 62 pounds of cocaine in her bag. Damn. Meanwhile, a road worker apologizes after a traffic message included the American word for shag. Woman injured after taking dog for a walk while riding in the bed of a truck. 3 kids on family hike make discovery that definitely doesn't suck. And a Pennsylvania truck driver gets in the zone. AutoZone. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, we talked about this a bit yesterday, but Joey Chestnut, best known and frankly only known as the world's greatest competitive eater, he's been excluded from this year's Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Now, he's won the Nathan's event 16 times, including every year since 2016. So, why is he banned? Well, Joey signed a deal to be the spokesperson for Impossible Foods' new plant-based hot dog, and now he's out. Now, maybe the ban is temporary, maybe it's permanent, but either way, Joey not allowed to participate this year. In the world of music, Jelly Roll has been killing it, and he has sold out shows here in the States, and only the States, because in a recent interview, Jelly explained that he's having trouble booking international tour dates because of his past felonies. You see, countries like Japan, New Zealand, Canada, the UK, they won't let you in if you're a felon, making it a little tricky to book an international tour. But good news for Jelly Roll, he can run for president. However, if he were to be elected president, there's a whole bunch of other things that he wouldn't be able to do. For example, presidents are forbidden from opening windows. That car, house, doesn't matter. You can't open the window.
Don't open the window.
They cannot use personal technology unmonitored. So if you want to surf porn, that's great. Secret Service is going to watch it with you. They cannot attend their own children's sporting events or performances. But frankly, when they're real little, that's a good thing. And they also can't even go to the movies. But there's always something that you're not allowed to do for whatever reason, right? Maybe you had to change your diet for health reasons after the doctor diagnosed you with blank. Or you quit doing drugs because your new job, well, now they drug test you. Or maybe you just got banned from someplace, like I've done multiple times. But that brings us to today's question. What are you not allowed to do anymore, and why? Or what do you just not do anymore?
Be part of the Big Show. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I think if we can just really focus on, the mission and what matters and what we're all trying to collectively do and make this a better place, then we can be more effective.
Dental Sound Bites, created for dentists by dentists.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the shows, away we go. Welcome to Season 19, episode number 4122. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people in the news each and every week not doing the best of things, and you bring us the three stories. It's up to us to determine, out of the three stories, which one sucks the least. How brutal are we this week on Who Sucks Less?
It's not particularly brutal, but I would say it is a good cautionary tale of things not to do at schools. And all three stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dealing with a little education.
There's a million things.
I know. That worries me with that segment.
It's not the worst stuff, but it's not good stuff, right?
We've also got some updated locations on the Men's Room IPA exclusively from Black Raven Brewing. Speaking of, Men's Room World Tour stops at the Lime in Kirkland. That goes down a couple of Saturdays from now, from 2 until 4. That would be June the 22nd, as we're taking the show once again on the road. Hang with us, enjoy the new Men's Room IPA from Black Raven, Men's Room IPA sausage from Uli's world-famous sausage, the beer brat, and the Men's Room roasted red salsa from San Juan Salsa Company. Why are we there? We're raising money and helping support the Fisher House. And you'll be able to party with us and do just that. And keep in mind, those three products benefit the 3 local Fisher houses. So we're keeping it here in the Pacific Northwest. Best of all, the party's absolutely free. There is no ticket required or anything like that. We're just going to do 2 hours and drink as much Men's Room IPA as we can and give as much money back to the Fisher House.
That's going to be a blast. Great bar.
Lyman Kirkland, which is on 122nd Avenue Northeast.
I've not been there, but Ted, you speak highly of this place.
Yeah, man. I've been in there. I've been in there at night partying. I've been there during the day, just kind of watching sports, but
laughing at your buddies,
laughing at our buddy destroying the bathroom.
All the details at the party, KISW.com. Go to the events page and then scroll down a little ways, and you'll get to the party. It's there with all the details.
Keep scrolling.
You keep on scrolling. All right, a question.
I feel like Fred Durst, Miles.
Yes.
Keep scrolling.
What are you not allowed to do anymore, and why? Or what do you not do just because? And we start with a story that Ted brought us yesterday with TV Time with Ted. They say there are a handful of July 4th traditions: Universal, barbecues, fireworks, and of course, it all kicks off with the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Competition is a huge draw, believe it or not. Thousands of people make their way to Coney Island just to witness the event in person. Not only that, millions more watch it on TV through ESPN.
Do you know where it is?
Which locked up the exclusive rights through 2029.
What's it, Surf and Stillwell?
As far as
that's like the famous corner. I only know that because every time they do the introduction, they tell you about it. I mean, the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest is massive.
Joey Chestnut, without a question, the most famous name in competitive eating. He has won it 16 times, but this year he will be left out of the competition. The reason? Chestnut, he has inked a deal to be a spokesman for Impossible Foods, which launched a plant-based hot dog earlier this year, going against brand exclusivity rules that were connected to Nathan's competition. We are, quote, devastated to learn that Joey Chestnut has chosen to represent a rival brand that sells plant-based hot dogs rather than competing in the 2024 Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest. That from the Major League Eating Foundation, as they issued a statement. They say Major League Eating and Nathan's went to great lengths in recent months to accommodate Joey and his management team, agreeing to the appearance fee and allowing him to compete in a rival unbranded hot dog eating contest on Labor Day. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked under the same basic hot dog exclusivity provisions. However, it seems that Joey and his managers, they have prioritized a new partnership with a different dog brand over our longtime relationship.
Oh, no.
In a statement of its own, Impossible Foods says, we love Joey, support him in any contest he chooses. It's okay to experiment with a new dog. Meat eaters shouldn't have to be exclusive to just one wiener.
That was a loaded statement.
That is. They're saying a lot there.
Yeah. In response, Chestnut said, I was gutted to learn from the media that after 19 years, I am banned from the Nathan's July 4th hot dog eating contest. I love competitive eating. I love celebrating America with my fans all over this great country on the 4th. And I've been training every day to defend my title. To set the record straight, I do not have a contract with Major League Eating or Nathan's, and they are looking to change the rules from past years as it relates to other partners I can work with. This is apparently the basis on which I'm being banned, and it does not impact the July 4th event. Sadly, this is the decision Nathan's and Major League Eating are making, and it will deprive the great fans of this holiday's usual joy and entertainment. To my fans, I love you, appreciate you. Rest assured, you'll see me eat again soon. He closed out with, stay hungry. Now, in the world of sports, stars matter, and they say Chestnut is sure to have an impact on ESPN's ratings, with the morning event being replayed all day on an otherwise slow for sports day.
Yeah.
Major League Eating, for its part, says it's holding out hopes that Chestnut returns to the event once he is no longer shilling vegan hot dogs. Joey Chestnut is an American hero. We were talking about this outside, Ted, and we said basically this. This would take one phone call to clear this up. One phone call. And that would come from Disney, who owns ESPN. And the president calls and says, hey, listen, we have an exclusive contract with you. It is up to us to get advertisers for the broadcast. It's up to the amount of people that are going to watch. And if you don't have the biggest star there, there is no point in us being a part of televising this in any way, shape, or form. ESPN is locked in knowing that the Tom Brady of competitive eating is going to be playing in the Super Bowl, which is the hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July without question.
Correct. It's the biggest eating event.
It's like, KC makes it to the Super Bowl. Everyone's excited. And Andy Reid says, hey, look, we're glad to be here, but for no particular reason. And even though he's completely fit to play the game, we're benching Mahomes.
Well, look, this happens all the time, right? Like the NBA has a contract with Sprite, but Starry is trying to get into the NBA world. So they have Giannis, right? He's doing, like, you can, your team might wear Reebok. You could still have a deal with Nike.
Correct.
Yep.
So I was wrong. I thought he was trying to eat those dogs. If he's still going to eat the Nathan's dog, what's it matter if he signed Impossible?
Right. I'm just telling people to check out Impossible Hot Dogs. I still want to do Nathan's. I'm not eating the veggie dogs.
Yeah. Look, remember, for years, during the Pete Carroll era of the Seahawks, Delta Airlines was the exclusive carrier of the Seattle Seahawks.
Great point.
You would not know that based on the fact that the face of the franchise, Russell Wilson, was sponsoring Alaska Airlines. And you know for a fact that if you were to wear Russell Wilson jersey, I believe, on a Friday through a Sunday flight, maybe I can't remember what they did. They maybe tried to upgrade you, or I don't remember.
Maybe they hook you up with that cheese and fruit platter.
There was some kind of promotion involved.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. It's great.
But when you watch the commercials on television, you see Russell Wilson, you see Alaska Airlines.
Yeah.
Your mind tells you that obviously the Seahawks must have something to do with Alaska Airlines, when in fact, no. The carrier was Delta Airlines. But you wouldn't know that if you were. Delta didn't really push that fact on commercials locally. It was in the stadium. Sure. It was other places. But they said, there was never a commercial that said, Delta Airlines, you're official carrier of the Seattle Seahawks.
I would have. I mean, that's what you're paying for.
But he was allowed to do that. So in the Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, it happens in every sport ever.
Right. Of course it does, man. I mean, look, we work for Odyssey. We can listen to other radio stations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. Yeah, that might not be owned by Odyssey.
But if we wanted to go on one, all right, that would be a problem.
Thank you, Mike.
So, because we're under, because we're like, if we went across the street and did an interview with another radio personality,
I got you.
If we did that, the S would hit the fan. Now, if we did it internally, if we went over and talked to Gregor on the morning show or Christy on the end or any of that stuff, or the morning show with Matt and Ron and Gabe, that would be perfectly acceptable.
You wouldn't even have to ask.
No, it would be.
Hey, you're right. I've tried to have my buddies that work in this market and other stations on my podcast. Not allowed.
Yeah, we tried it in the past, and in a sense, it makes sense, but then you go like, guys, maybe we're overthinking this because you can watch, I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel. He's ABC? All right, so Jimmy Kimmel's on ABC. Yep. And he'll say, my guest tonight is so-and-so. And anytime you have a guest, they're there to pimp whatever the hell it is they want you to do. But he's on this show, but the show's on NBC. And in spite of him being on ABC, he says, all right, thank you, Ted Smith, for coming in. By the way, check out his new show, The Ted Show, 8:30s on Fridays. Right. On NBC. Now, it doesn't freaking matter.
Every once in a while, they will give you a special exemption. And it depends on the circumstance.
If it's sports related, a lot of times you could do that.
That's a big deal. Also, like when we celebrated our 50th anniversary of KISW, a number of legendary broadcasters have walked through these halls and been on these airwaves.
Yeah.
We tried to get as many as we could to do interviews with, to reflect on their time and what was the fun time in radio when things went down in the studio. It was crazy. And, all the bands came in, and it was just a little bit more like what you would envision radio to be like as far as the fun aspect of it, correct? And so there were a couple of people that we did interview that were on other radio stations. But that was because it's Steve Slayton. It's legendary radio personalities.
Gary Crow.
That are just coming back to, relive their moments from, that era of time. But other than that,
but you had to talk about this station.
We would get our ass fired if we showed up anywhere else.
Oh, they lose their mind.
Yeah. And that's just, and that's the way it goes. You sign a spokesperson, someone that represents you. Look, guess what? That's what you do. That for that time in that contract period. But as he said, Joey Chestnut is not under contract with Major League Eating or with Nathan's Hot Dogs. There was no contract that he signed that said
you can't do these
other things. Where we have one that says, hell no, you can't do any of that stuff.
We know. It's in the contract. We read it. We understand. But if I were not contracted to this company, then, you got to go talk to these other people. You have no legal ground to stand.
Well, you go on a podcast that has nothing to do with radio.
Sure.
So if Kenny Mayne's got a podcast, he asked us to go on, absolutely. No problem.
He's never asked. He's never reached out.
And he's through the company.
I think that's a good point. He does have a podcast.
Fine, Ted just killed his whole argument.
That was a bad example.
Yeah,
but that is correct.
But that's why you could easily do
Bill Gates, whoever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's going to ask us to be on his podcast.
I think somebody here, though, they say it's from the text line. So, look, Chestnut can't do it, which is ridiculous. It's stupid. It's petty, but it is what it is. But they said, look, why don't we have Chestnut versus Kobayashi? Just duel at another bar.
That's what I was saying yesterday. Put it on Netflix.
Absolutely.
I'll watch it.
Do like the Live Golf Tour. Have the Saudis have them funded.
Yeah, $100 million. See some outdoors.
Yeah, you could find another announcer.
That's right.
But that guy, I've told you, I've watched a special on Kobayashi. That guy is, I'll just say, he's a real peach.
Well, when you get
he's an a-hole.
You get the idea that he's kind of managing that like Vince McMahon does
Correct.
with the WWE.
But WWE is all the time. This is once a year.
Yes. Now we know Jelly Roll. He's hoping to bring his high-energy stage presence overseas, but he's got to overcome some legal issues first. The superstar sat down with John Bon Jovi for a wide-ranging interview where he shared that he's hoping to tour or hoping to internationally.
Blowing your mind, Ted?
That's just a weird one. I don't know. Why John Bon Jovi's interviewing Jelly Roll? Why is he interviewing anybody?
For a magazine.
Yes, Interview Magazine.
It's not even like a podcast or they did it on TV.
I think they have different people interview people all the time. So
okay.
Not just one standard.
I've never read Interview Magazine.
I haven't either.
It says, it's funny America's finally agreed to let me leave and give me a passport. But some countries won't let me come in because of my felonies and the fact that I'm a felon. We're working on that. I think it's going to work in my favor. For an example, Jelly Roll would not be able to go to Canada.
Right.
That is a fact. He has been open about his past jail time. He uses his platform to help others overcome similar journeys. I want to say at one point he has either put a music studio in a jail that he was in.
I did
with a school that he went to, a high school. The star has been to jail dozens of times for various drug charges, all the way back to his first arrest when he was 14 years old. He was arrested for aggravated robbery, charged as an adult, leaving him to serve more than a year in prison and 7 years probation. I never want to overlook the fact it was a heinous crime, he said. Now, this is a grown man looking back at a 16-year-old kid that made the worst decisions that he could have made in that time in his life. People could have gotten hurt. By the grace of God, thankfully, no one did. He added that the birth of his daughter kind of inspired him to change.
Yeah,
when he was
kids
23 years
do that
old. He was incarcerated at the time for drug dealing. He said, a guard knocks on my cell door mid-afternoon during lockdown. He goes, "You had a kid today." I've never had nothing in my life that urged me in that moment to know that I had to do something different. And I have to figure this out right now. So he is trying to work on a way where, because of his conviction on being a felon, that he can leave the country.
But you know how this stuff works. It'd be different if I said, look, I have felonies, I'd like to come to your country. They say, absolutely not. We have a hard rule on this. Jelly Roll, you say, hey, man, I'm on a tour, and I will bring $20 million to your city for a one-night event. They go, you know what? We're going to make an exception. Come on in, man.
I mean, I think...
Money talks, brother.
Money does, but some of the, like, Canada I could fathom. Some of those Asian countries, though, and stuff. Like,
I don't think Asia, they don't mess with it.
They don't mess with drugs. He's got so many drugs. Like, I get it. Like, if they're not going to let him in, they're not going to let him in.
So if you're a felon, what do you lose? It varies state by state, but throughout the U.S., some of the general rights convicted. Felons lose. Or
so don't admit that you have one.
Voting.
A felony?
Traveling abroad. The right to bear arms or own guns.
They have to wear long sleeves.
Jury service.
Oh, now see, that's a bonus.
Employment in certain fields, I would agree with that.
If I get called for jury duty, I'm just going to, I'm a felon.
Public social benefits and housing and parental benefits.
I've gone with Morgan Wallen.
No.
So you lose some parental benefits as well if you are a convicted felon. So
Like
what?
Oh, I see. So, like,
if you had weekends, maybe they change
that.
that.
You lose those kind of privileges.
Yeah. Whatever that might be. I think that is the one jurisdiction that probably varies state by state the most.
I would think so.
So our question, what are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK.
Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. Parents can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and more. Plus, keep an eye on spending with real-time notifications. Join more than 6 million families building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Odyssey. That's greenlight.com/Odyssey.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow, today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
For those in the market for flavor, there's Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, a flavorful drink that's a modern twist on a Mexican street classic with 4 vibrant and refreshing flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, hibiscus, and cucumber lime, made with a splash of real fruit juice. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas are perfect for any fiesta, small or big. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, boldly authentic, vibrantly flavorful. Drink responsibly. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas flavored beers imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hibiscus contains juice only for color.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health. And Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size. Because it all adds up to something big. A healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, what are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK.
Couple of quick texts here. It says, let's see, 10 years ago, I adopted a dog from the Pierce County Animal Shelter. In 24 hours, that dog destroyed half my house. So the next day, I took him back. After about 6 hours, I went back to get him. So while I was filling out paperwork again, they made me sign a piece of paper telling me that I am banned for life from adopting from them again. But I still have the dog.
Okay.
Well, at least got the dog. Someone here said we're talking about being a felon and the things.
It's kind of crazy to take the dog back and then be like, I want him back.
I think it's one of those things like, the dog tears up your house. You're going to lose your mind. You don't know the dog. You're not super attached yet. All you think is, I'm going to kill this thing. After you calm down and kind of clean up a bit, like, you know what, man? I overreacted. Let me get the dog back. And the point, he still has the dog.
Yeah.
Although this could have just happened yesterday. We don't know. And then we were talking about, like, rights that you lose as a felon. Someone here says, I had 2 DUIs 18 years ago. I don't think I can go to Canada because it's a felony up there. That is true. And then someone here, we heard one of the things, if you're a felon, you can't serve jury duty. Mm-hmm. So to me, I was like, that's the most brilliant reason to be a felon. I didn't even tell him, like, I'm committing this crime to avoid jury duty. Well, someone here says, I'm a felon. I've been called to jury duty. It depends on the charge. So now there's no good reason to be a felon.
Yeah. If you own a gun, that's why Hunter Biden was found guilty.
Right.
You know, he's not allowed to have a gun.
You're a felon for your drug conviction. And you lied about it when all this crap, but in the end, like, that's what we're nabbing on.
What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? Mine is mushrooms.
Well, yeah, but you never had a good trip on mushrooms.
I've had a few, but as I get older, I find that they're less enjoyable for me.
Oh man, I disagree. Every time I do, it's like taking a kid to Disney
It's a voluntary choice. I just would rather stay away from them.
Which I like, because every once in a while someone will like hand them a bag of shrooms and they gives them to me, and I'm like, that is awesome.
You go have a good time.
Oh, I will.
What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK.
I don't know why. I can't adopt dogs. I can't do shrooms.
Yeah. It was that night at the Gorge, man. Velvet Revolver and Alice in Chains.
Was that the last time?
Isn't that kind of like blaming the last shot of Fireball, though?
Yes, exactly. It is exactly
I think
like
you might
that.
indulge in a couple things.
Oh, yes, I remember.
There was a lot of things going on. Mushrooms are just part of it.
One drop in each eye, from what I remember. Good
and
times.
the brownies.
Yeah, I know. I was just on a roll.
We did a lot of drugs, man. I don't know why you singled out the shrooms.
Boop. That's what I'm saying.
But I'll do that again.
Right, and I mean, look, I'm guilty of it too when I'm out boosting. Like, I don't know why we did. It's like, look, that shot of Jameson that we did in the night, isn't that? It's the 13 beers we drank for the hours we were in that bar.
You are not wrong. At all.
At least you're honest about it. I like
exactly. And I'm blaming the shroom.
The damn shroom. Right?
Yes,
I mean, where were you trying to get to, Mars?
I got there.
Yeah. Again, my favorite part of that story is when Miles Montgomery turns down weed. I was like, oh, he messed up.
He's bad shape.
My best thing was she'd go, hey, man, you want to go down and bring out Velvet Revolver? I'm like, no, man, I think you're going to do it. I look down the stage, and the stage is it seems like a mile away. And I turned to Ted to go, okay, maybe I will. And he's on stage going, ladies and gentlemen, I'm like, how did you just transport down the stage? Yeah, 2 seconds.
And all these people going,
damn.
Miles okay? I said, look, man, He's got his knees tucked up to his chin with his shirt pulled over it, and he's rocking back and forth.
And you were just
I'm not a body language expert, but my money says no.
And you were just as surprised. I mean, it took me at least a half an hour to get back up that hill, and you're like, what are you doing here? I thought you were just on stage. I'm like,
exactly.
It's been half an hour.
Good times. So see, that's why I don't do that.
Yeah, all right. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
It was the shrooms.
It was the shrooms.
Not any of the other drugs.
No.
Hello, Breck. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, gentlemen. I was laughing along with you, y'all. I can relate to some mushroom stories myself.
Do you have bad trips on shrooms, man?
Say again?
Do you have bad trips on shrooms?
Okay, so I would say I'm a pretty experienced shroom acid taker. Been on many journeys, and
you probably met Miles somewhere on the road.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I've helped many other friends on journeys, and I've only really ever had like maybe 2 bad trips, and it was just because I really didn't plan anything. The one time I did mushrooms, I just lied in my bed and let my mind go. The whole Terrence McKenna thing, dark room, nothing around you, no music,
no stimuli,
and it was the whole duality thing where it was like all intensively good and then all intensively bad, and this is life and. It's hard to explain a mushroom trip. You know how it goes.
You don't know what you're talking to people that aren't us. I definitely know.
Last time we had a week off, a few months back, I was down at the Oregon coast.
Yeah.
And I decided to microdose. And Ted, you know my version of microdose.
Yeah, I know.
I decided I'm going to walk along the beach.
All right.
In rural Oregon, what not? And I realized, and I'm by myself. I'm out there, and there's nobody out there. And I mean, it was almost worse. I'd almost rather have families around because I'm out there and I'm like, I'm all alone.
Oh, God. Damn you, apes.
It's just so weird. It's just like, what if a big wave comes up and just takes me away?
Yeah, the big wave fear. I mean, I've been on a beach. I've been on a beach just drunk and stoned and been like, we got to get off this beach. It's dark.
And I think, is the tide coming in? I think the tide's coming in.
Yeah.
That wave just worked. I think the tide's coming in. I need to get out of here. Well, how do I get out of here? Where did I come from? Realized I'd walked about 3 miles, just like.
I would say I was exactly sober when I talked to the wise goat that was just a stray dog.
Covered in mange, right?
Oh, God, that dog was ugly the next morning. And that night, he was wise.
And he was a goat.
He was wise.
So Breck, what are you not allowed to do anymore?
Sorry, I'm trying to not compulsively laugh. The thing that I don't do anymore, me and VD were talking about it when I was on hold, and that is I don't drive a regular car no more.
Why not?
And it goes back to my normal days of being a little too lead-footed and adventurous with automobiles, pushing them to their extreme. Having grew up in the Army in Germany, where I could basically go to any speed I wanted to, kind of gave me the keys to the kingdom.
Right, Germany. Yeah, right.
Sure.
And that's where you learned to drive?
Well, I got stationed there when I was 20 to 23. So that's good. Yeah.
What base, by the way? What base were you at?
Rammstein.
I was at Grafenwehr, Germany. It's in about an hour northeast of Nuremberg.
Is that the Rammstein base?
No. Rammstein is West Germany.
Okay, all right, good. Well, because I'm not allowed at the Rammstein Army base.
You're banned for life.
I'm banned, and I didn't do anything. Swear to God, some guy with my name did something terrible, and they will not tell me what it is, and I understand that. But he had my name, and so this guy apparently, Stephen Hill, is banned from the Rammstein Air Force Base. And I discovered this dropping off a friend who works for the Department of Defense back at the JBLM here. And when you give them your ID, they made us pull over to the side. They pulled out their M16s. We don't know what's going on yet, but I remember my wife, the first words out of her mouth were, "What did you do, Stephen?" I'm like, look, I didn't do anything, but I guarantee you this is still going to revolve around me because I'm just that guy. So this took like 30 minutes, and the guy asked me, "Have you been to Rammstein Air Force Base in Germany?" I'm like, F no. Like, what the hell would I be there? And he goes, "Okay, look, a guy with your name, different middle name." That's when I finally figured out I'm not this guy. They said, "Listen, don't ever go there." Because, like, apparently, whatever this guy did, like, if I show up there, I would be arrested. So I'm not allowed to go to a place I've never been because somebody who has my name did something I don't even know about.
So what do you do? Are you buying like little 4-cylinder beaters or something to keep yourself from driving fast?
Oh, no. And it might be a little counterintuitive, but I daily drive an F-150 with a 5.0 Coyote. I also have 3 kids, so it's as far as like daily driving, a truck actually is the safest vehicle for just getting around. I don't put a lot of miles on my daily rig, maybe 5,000 a year.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a mile to the grocery store, 2 miles to the other thing. So I live relatively efficiently as far as that goes. And
do you do truck stuff with your truck?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I got to go camping and fishing. We're going up to the mountains, talking about mushrooms on the 29th.
With the 3 kids.
National Rainforest. Going to go have fun and look at the stars, and hopefully it's not cloudy on the Fork side. So, yeah.
Hopefully it's not cloudy on the Fork side. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope it's not hot in Phoenix in July. Yeah, man.
I mean, you can pray for. Hey! If you've ever been up there when the weather actually is nice, it is the most beautiful place on earth. I compare it to Fiji. I will compare it to whatever tropical resort X name here. Like that area
but when is it nice?
It's so magical.
I've been there a couple times. It's always slightly misted and cloudy.
Well, there are a couple months when Lake Crescent is warm enough to get in. So that is a beautiful. Yeah, you can get in that lake, but
also the truck stuff, man.
What is it? The Hua Hua Trail or whatever it is in the tropical rainforest. That's
the Ho.
Yeah, the Ho Trail.
Yeah,
that's
is that what it's called?
That's cool.
Yeah,
the Ho Trail.
I got too many buddies now. It's like when they all turned 40, they all bought trucks.
Sure,
they don't do anything. Truck guys,
like camping and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I don't even know if they put stuff in the back of it. They just like I was like, what? Why do you have a truck?
Open bed or no?
Yeah,
you live in an apartment.
Yeah, that's weird. Like we have a big ass vehicle, but I mean it's covered.
And you got
if I had a pickup truck, I'd be throwing crap in the back of that.
I mean, it's got an extended cab. Look, you know what? I'll just say it. It's DB. All right. He's got a truck now. I'm like, what are you doing with this truck? And the first week he had it, he crashed into something. I'm just like, what are you doing, man?
Where does he live?
He lives up in Pennsylvania. He's got a nice home. Like, it's not that. Right. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like, you know what? I'll just say it. I feel like there's a group, like a lot of white dudes, when they turn 40, got to go get a truck.
Well, it used to be a sports car, right?
I feel like that was a little older, like 50s.
Oh, 50s is the sports car, 40s is the truck. All right.
Yeah.
What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not just do because? 206-803-ROCK.
But honestly, it's crazy. Trucks now, like basic trucks are expensive as like...
Because they outsell cars right now.
Yeah, everybody's got a truck.
The automaker that's going to stop making cars and just go to SUVs and stuff like that. Because they said, look, nobody's buying cars. Everyone has an SUV or a truck, so give people what they want.
Same thing on Cape Cod.
What, trucks?
Everything's truck or an SUV.
You allowed to take your trucks on the beach there?
There is some places
that may be why.
But I'm sure that is. But I just finally said to my uncle, it's like, so I guess if I drove my sedan up here, I'm just a bitch at Cape Cod. He's like, well,
yeah.
All right.
Hello, Tim. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, Tim.
Tim.
Yes, I'm here.
Hola, Tim.
I had to give up smoking marijuana.
For health reasons, mental reasons, or work?
I work at Boeing, and I ran a piece of equipment into the airplane, got P-tested, and the federal government says you can't smoke marijuana and work on airplanes. Go figure.
Go figure, yeah. How many years ago was that?
That was about a year and a half, so I still get P-tested every month.
Really?
Oh, you do? Okay.
611 days, something like that.
You're actually keeping count. Wow.
Oh, yeah, because as soon as I retire, I'm starting again.
How many years do you have before you retire?
About a year and a half.
All right, not so bad. And the good news is when you go back to weed, the first time you smoke, you're going to get real high.
Exactly. And I also gave up drinking beer because I'm afraid if I start drinking again, I'll start smoking dope again.
Just because of your friend group, or they just go hand in hand?
Yeah, but it kind of, that was my deal. I drink beer and smoke dope.
Oh, that's my deal.
Yeah, that's pretty much like I got home.
Never heard of this.
I took your deal. I'll try that someday.
People keep stealing your deal, dude.
All my friends.
It works. It works good.
I'll be damned.
No, I mean, I hear that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. Like, depending on the job you get, man, if they drug test, if you're someone who liked doing drugs, whatever those drugs might be, it kind of ruins the whole thing, man. I did not get a job in New Orleans at a restaurant smoking weed. And like I said, went to the interview, had a great interview. Me and this woman, we just clicked. Like, we knew, like, okay, we're going to have a good working relationship, whatever. So the last thing she says is, by the way, the job's yours, but one thing, we just have to do a drug test. And she said, is that going to be a problem? It's not going to be a problem for me, but I do not believe that you will like the results. She's like, look, man, we can't do it. So, really, man, it's just weed, or a lot of cocaine as well. But I just said, it's just weed. She's like, it's policy. Yeah. I was like,
I mean, that's why it'd be nice. That's why it'd be nice to switch the federal rules on weed.
Yes,
right. Because I can't pass a drug test with weed, but it's legal in this state. But it's like, test me for whatever else you want. It's fine.
Yeah, I told you, my buddy Jeff, who works for the Raleigh City Water Board, whatever the hell he does. So we all met up, a group of 4 of us who grew up together in the same neighborhood and went to elementary, junior high, and high school together. So we met up in Chicago, Illinois, and we were just going to have a reunion type of weekend with just the 4 of us, hang out, see what we get into. So the first night, I booked us a dinner at a steak restaurant. Now, my buddy Jeff, he had just been diagnosed with this disease that he got after he was bit by a tick while testing some water in a stream in a tributary that fed into a water supply.
This is a dude that can't eat red meat anymore?
He can't eat red meat. He can't eat pork. He cannot
What
eat
happens
lamb.
to him if he does?
I believe he swells up to the point where his throat begins to swell up.
Oh, damn.
The hives, basically the same thing as the caller we had yesterday who got stung by a bee.
All right.
So the thing that he gets violently ill internally. All right. He had just been diagnosed with this. It took years for them to figure out what was going on. So when we met up in Chicago, he was on this for like 2 weeks. He'd been on this diet or whatever for 2 weeks. He was a little bit agitated. So the first night...
You guys ordering steaks and everything?
Well, I did not know any of this. So the first night, I got us, because it was close to our hotel.
And Chicago's kind of famous for steakhouse.
Yeah. They are. And basically, I didn't pick one based on, this is the greatest steakhouse. I based it based on the fact that it was a block and a half away from our hotel.
Sure.
It's the first night we're there. Let's just sit down. Let's get a nice steak. And so Jeff's over there looking at the menu, and he's like, what is the fish of the day? And I'm like, fish of the day? And they told him, and he's like, I'll have the chicken. I'm like, chicken? I mean, what are you doing? So this is the beginning of this. So you got to keep in mind, Chicago hot dogs we go get. Italian pit beef sandwiches.
Italian beef is great, Chicago.
Chicago is not the seafood capital of the world. It is more decadent than that. It is more meat-based. If you're going to get something, like we went and got Chicago deep dish pizza, we had to order him a cheese pizza with veggies on it, which is a big-ass pizza that no one wants to eat, essentially. It's a $35 pizza that everybody...
I was going to say, right?
I was like, everybody's like, I want the sausage and the meat one. And he was just looking at us, and I was just like, this has got to suck.
And he'd only been on this diet, you said, for like 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. Like, he just got...
So no red meat, no pork.
No red meat, no pork, no lamb. I thought there was one other, but I think that covers it. I know chicken and fish are in the clear, but that was about it.
Ooh,
I mean, you're talking going to breakfast with bacon and... I mean, he still was not there yet as far as it all just registering how sucky this was going to be. God. He's probably okay with it now. Get chicken sausage. Or
maybe. But like you said, you went to Chicago.
Which is
I can't eat beef. Like, this is not the place
if we went to New Orleans, it'd be great. Eat seafood all day long.
Sure.
Not a big deal.
Don't take him to Texas.
But we're in Chicago, man.
You know what I mean? Seriously.
Texas would be tough.
He would not eat, like, vegetables. But I mean, the stuff that grows out of the ground.
He's from Carolina, man. That's one of the best barbecue places in the country. If you haven't had barbecue there, definitely a little bit different, but it's all pork-based. And it's correct. It's fantastic. Ribs, pulled pork, all those things are kind of...
And he's got to smell it all the time, because these are outdoor barbecuers. And they're not even grilling. You know what I mean? Yeah. 24 hours a day, it just smells delicious, and this dude can't eat any of it.
I mean, I guess chicken and fish, though, and seafood... I could get by.
I could too. But
I feel like I'd have a tougher time not having chicken.
But this was still the initial shock of him trying to get through.
The pizza, you know what I mean?
I mean, like, pepperoni is king in my world. Sausage is next.
Bacon. It's not even just eating a burger. It's like all these little side things. Like, dude, I just want a piece of bacon, but if I do, I might die.
You're right. I mean, chicken would be difficult for me because I love chicken wings and all those other things. But, man, he was having a hard time because he was...
He's probably pissed.
Oh, man. I would go to his house when we were kids, and his mom would make pot roast.
Yeah.
And she was one of those women who could make pot roast. It was just the best ever with carrots and potatoes and like that nice brown gravy and just pull apart with forks. Like, that's what he grew up on because that's what his dad wanted for dinner. He was a meat potatoes guy. So Jeff was just raised on meat and potatoes.
Now he's a potatoes guy.
It was meatloaf. It was mashed potatoes. It was every time I went over there, they were having some type of beef and potato for dinner. Because his dad was a coal miner. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
That's what he got.
What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Gatorade. Studied, tested, proven. With over 50 years in the making, it's scientifically researched and game-tested to help replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Buy 2 Gatorade 28-ounce bottles for $5 at 7-Eleven today.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification.
When you find a deal on your favorite thing in the McDonald's app and order it, does that technically count as online shopping? Save money with the app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's, prices may vary.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK. We have a couple of updates from stories, one that we brought you yesterday, including the story of the 1,400-pound bull that jumped the fence at the Sisters Rodeo and charged into the crowd over the past weekend, injuring at least 3 people.
That bull will never compete in another professional bull riding event ever. The 3-year-old bull named Party Bus was permanently banned from from competing in future events by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association following the frightening and unprecedented escape. Now, prior to Saturday's event, Party Bus had never jumped a rodeo fence or committed any infractions. A bull breaching the fence has never happened in the 84-year history of the Sisters Rodeo. We follow the best practices and industry standards with respect to all of our event operations.
Maybe the bulls are maybe they just have better ups nowadays.
It could be.
Or they didn't read the handbook.
Oh, I'm not allowed to jump over.
Okay, my bad. I didn't see that.
Reminder, I'm a bull.
2 of the 3 spectators injured by the bull were taken to a local hospital. 1 received medical treatment at the rodeo. Following the suspension, Party Bus will live out the rest of his life on a ranch in Eastern Washington, where he will breed future generations of rodeo bulls.
That's why he did it.
Do you think that they have a higher fence at some farm in Eastern Washington that guy can't jump over?
Well, he
doesn't need it, dude.
And if he's breeding other bulls, don't they think he'll tell them, like, dude, you could jump out of the ring if you want?
And for the rest of your life, your punishment is to have sex. You might have the cops pull you over like, hey, there's a bench warrant for your arrest, and as punishment, we're sending you to a brothel to have sex with as many women as you can for the rest of your life.
And here's one.
Hey, remember, racehorses only race to 3?
3 or 4.
And they retire to stud.
And stud, yeah.
We were talking to the big boss Dave earlier today. He mentioned the fact that he was going to go down and see the Grateful Dead in Las Vegas. I know you said you maybe were thinking about doing that.
Oh, at the Sphere, yeah.
At the Sphere. Well, of course, Fish played before the Grateful Dead.
When is the big boss going down?
I don't know. Ask him. He said he was going to go down and see a show. Probably, why? You got to watch your P's and Q's down there?
I don't know if I want to run into our boss at a Dead show.
Dude, I think he would.
You never know.
Either you'd really get along or forget that you guys saw each other there altogether.
Oh, yeah, man.
Or just be sweating bullets and not say a word to him.
Man, I think both of you would be like, because he'd be thinking the same thing you are, like, hey, man, this guy works for me. I can't let him know how high I am. Ted's over there going, dude, that's my boss. I can't let him know how high I am.
Well, reps from the Sphere in Las Vegas said that the ban that they put on a man to never walk or be in any MGM property ever again, that is no longer in effect, as he was filmed taking bong hits at a fish show. MGM Entertainment, or MSG Entertainment, said that due to a breakdown in our process, we sent out the email a little hastily. At the same time, though, the venue reaffirmed that lighting up such a mammoth piece of paraphernalia inside a show violates both venue policy and local law. The statement from the Sphere, issued Saturday, read, there was a breakdown in our process due to a change in personnel, which resulted in the letter being sent inadvertently. Customer is now not banned from our properties. However, it is still against our policies, which are in accordance with local laws, to smoke, bring glassware into our venues, and disrupt other fans' enjoyment of the event. Now, MSG Entertainment, how are they going to pull this off? They are well known and was on the forefront of facial recognition software to identify customers. The company even posts notices to that effect at Sphere entrances. So the ban was one the company likely would have been capable of actually enforcing.
Yeah.
Much like the Magic Kingdom and other places that use that technology, it is effective when they ban people from the venue.
Do you think at the Sphere, right? So Ted's face pops up, you've been banned. Do they now project your face on the entire outside of the Sphere saying, this man can't walk in?
Jesus Christ, that would be horrible.
Think about like America's Most Wanted.
It'd be pretty
Hey,
cool,
we're
though.
looking for this kid. You know, this thing's on the Sphere. Like, dear God.
It would be pretty cool, though, if you're going in for something in Vegas and you had them just put your face up there for 5 minutes when you got off the plane on the...
staring up at the plane.
Staring up on the way to the hotel. It's like,
oh, my God, I'm sitting next to that
Is
guy.
that you on the Sphere? Yeah, man, they do that for me every time I come in. In the original video...
I want to imagine, though, it's 3 a.m. You open your blinds.
Jesus.
And there's Ted's face.
Joe! Go, wake up!
Hey! Also, like... look, first of all, the guy, you shouldn't bring a bong in a bong is a lot. But also, like, I don't know that you're upsetting any other guest at a fish show because you're smoking weed.
Now, this happened back in April. He stands in the center aisle and takes a deep rip off this massive bong. Then blows a thick plume of heavy smoke out over several rows of patrons seated behind him, a few of whom laugh and applaud. Though it can't be ascertained from the video whether everyone in the range of the cloud appreciated the gesture.
They don't care.
Sphere security policy in dealing with open smoking has so far been just to politely approach someone. So if you are vaping in there, or you happen to hit a joint, or you're smoking off of a one-hitter or a pipe, they come up and say, please just extinguish the burning unit, whatever it is.
Okay.
Don't vape anymore. And they remind them that, look, even though marijuana is legal in Nevada and you can smoke in certain casinos, the Sphere is a smoke-free environment. The problem with this guy is he violated the glass ordinance. He brought in a huge-ass bong.
How did he even get it
ripping bong hits in the middle of the venue. That's why they asked him to leave.
Yeah.
Because he needed to leave with his glass paraphernalia. Because they asked him, can we throw this away? You'll be able to stay. And he said no. So they said, look, you're out. The bong's out. You are banned.
Thrill, that's the question I've been wondering, too. How did he sneak in a glass bong?
And what is this guy's name? The guy
was like Acid Fart.
Seriously. Like, his name says he's
Acid
the guy
Farts.
who's going to rip bong hits inside of a place you shouldn't do it. Honestly, God, his name's like Acid Farts.
I told you years ago, it's like 06, and I go to see Willie Nelson down in, what is it, Ridgefield? Is that the other amphitheater down by Portland?
Down by the casino.
I think so, yeah.
Down by the casino, right? So I go, this is 4 weed is legal, right? And like, it's Willie Nelson. So the sun hasn't really set yet, but Willie starts. And like, people start lighting up joints and everything.
Of course.
And the security guard like kind of goes over to one couple. It's like, you can't smoke that here. And after like the third one, he just walks down in the middle of the aisle and kind of like throws up his arms like, what am I going to do?
Right. Everyone here is smoking.
And it's a Willie Nelson concert. So the other odd thing is, right? God, this was so long ago. I had to have I had to run by his coffee shop to get him to roll me a joint. But I finally light up mine, and these two guys, I'm there with a girl, and these two guys behind us come over, like, mind if we hit? I'm like, no worries. The guy's like, do you need any more weed? I go, no, why? He's like, I came to the show, and he has this giant bag of weed to sell weed. He goes, I go, well, it's Willie Nelson. Everybody brought their own.
Yes.
Like, you're just the wrong crowd. Right. And look, it was mostly an older crowd.
But they're going to smoke weed.
Right, so as I'm saying, like, you could probably, I'm sure people go there to probably score some weed at a Willie show, but it's like, this isn't the biggest amphitheater. I was in my 20s. I was probably one of the younger dudes there. It's like all these like old school Willie fans in their 50s, they brought their weed.
Right, yep. Well, Steve, you said essentially based on actions that your dad probably will never step foot or be driving in the state of Oregon.
He cannot be caught driving in the state of Oregon.
Other offense, let's just say that, I don't know, open container, right?
All right.
He's walking in a fair. He's got a solo.
That's my dad.
I like the idea of him just strolling down the street in Portland.
Drinking a beer.
Open container.
He gets busted for that. Now, they run his name.
He's going to jail.
He's going to jail based on a traffic citation from 40 years ago.
1985.
30 years ago. Whatever the deal is. If there's any infraction, even if he gets into a fender bender.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He goes, and the thing was, at the time that he got the speeding ticket, he and my mother were doing basically a driving trip up and down the Pacific coast, right? So he gets busted in Oregon. I don't remember what his speed was. I know the man drives fast, but either way, they issue him a ticket. I don't know, $70, $100, and he just didn't pay it. He's like, I'm not paying that thing. I'm like, F those guys. So I'm a little bit younger, obviously, at this time, and I'm like, that seems like a bad idea. And my father looked at me and said, look, it's not a federal thing. It's the state of Oregon. When the F am I ever going to be in Oregon again? That was his quote. Fast forward, we get a job in Seattle here at this lovely radio station. I get married, I have kids, and now they want to be close to their grandkids, so they move up to Seattle for about 10 years. And I tell them, I said, look, man, you're going to end up in Oregon. It's just, if you live here, you're going to end up there. Mom has to be the one driving the car. And they rarely went to Oregon, but when they finally moved away, 2 years ago, I guess, they drove to New Mexico, where their new home is, but they took the Pacific Coast for a while, and I called them. I knew they'd only been gone for like an hour, and I called them. I said, you might want to get out of the car and switch drivers now. And he's like, oh, goddamn, yeah, I forgot. I'm like, don't forget, because the thing is, you do speed. My mom does not speed. He does speed. They will pull you over, and man, if they pull up your record, seriously, your ass is going to jail, because they're one of those states where it never goes away. They just keep adding interest to how much you owe.
Right, yeah.
So at this point, I don't know what the rate is. You get a $70 ticket in 1985. It's 2024. You haven't paid the thing. You've made that very clear. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars and jail time. But it follows his ass around, because during the retirement, they also lived in Texas for a little while. They went to Austin, and he went there to change his license over. And he said the woman with her long-ass fingernails, she never really looked up. She's clicking away, doing his information. And then she goes, oh, I'm sure you're not the Robert Hill who has an outstanding ticket in Oregon. This is like 2007 now, right? An outstanding ticket in Oregon, awfully pricey one. And my dad says, look, I realize she's giving me an out. So I just said, nope. Well, that's funny because he has the exact same birth date as you. He goes, I'll be damned. Same middle name as you. He's like, world's full of coincidences. And obviously she knows, but she goes, okay, well, here's your new Texas license, but understand that this Robert Hill might be in a heap of trouble if this ever comes back. He's like, well, I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
So, it follows him around.
Do you know anybody who's ever been kicked out of a sporting venue?
I don't know anyone personally.
I met someone who was kicked out of a sporting venue. So I had season tickets to the Seahawks, 2008-ish, somewhere in there. All right. I'm in the upper deck.
Like 300 level.
I'm way up there, and I'm in the corner. But that was where my season tickets were. So the wife and I are up there watching the game. I have no idea who's playing. There was some commotion behind us. All right. And there was a fight going on in the stands. And so everybody now stands up, and they're turning around to watch the fight. Now, it took security a while to get up there. And all of a sudden, this dude's like, excuse me. There was an open seat beside us, and he plops down beside me. And he's like, is anyone sitting here? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's not my seat. And I said, but nobody's been sitting here for the entire game. He's like, I just need to sit here for 10 minutes until this all gets cleared up. And I'm like, I said, were you in the fight, man? Did you punch someone in the face? Like, what are you doing? Because security's now running
not
up.
the face.
And he's looking at the security guard. He's like, no, man. He's like, the fight was when my friend got in a fight with this other guy. He's like, and they had season tickets together, but he got banned from his season ticket. So his friend bought the two, but he was just giving him the money. So whatever, I never asked him what went down, but he said, I'm banned from the stadium. So he's like, but the security guard is the same security guard that banned me from the stadium, and he actually took me down to the
little jail
thing or whatever, and they did all the stuff, and he's not supposed to be there. So the fight kind of goes on for a little while, and he's just sitting there looking back, and he basically sat there about 10 minutes, still sipping on his beer. Everything gets cleared up. They take the two dudes away down. He's like, hey, man, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And they walk back up and sat down in the seats.
I mean, I guess technically Bernie and I were banned from the Ravens Stadium for a year or two.
Technically.
Yeah, I mean, it was so long ago, but we had gone to an Orioles game. It was like, I think it was a bachelor party, right?
All right.
So we barely watched the game. Then we hung out in the Inner Harbor. So then we're kind of wasting time, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, kind of, you know, we had stopped drinking hours ago, but we're just walking around. People have never been to Baltimore. It's kind of like Seattle. Like, the two stadiums are next to each other.
Right. Yeah. Share a parking lot, the whole deal.
So at one point, it's dark, and he's like, I think we can get in there. And I'm like, that fence is too tall. Like, I'm not climbing that. So he climbs it and hops over. He's like, keep an eye out. And I'm like, all right. But maybe we had fun. I can't remember. But basically, security rolls up on me and it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, obviously, your friend's in there, blah, blah, blah. So then by the time he comes out and he's holding two clumps of grass, and he's like, I got some grass. And I'm like, stop. So then, they wrote us these like things, and they were like, you're not allowed in the stadium for, a year or two. And like, but it was so long ago. I don't know that they really would have noticed if we had gone, but we weren't Ravens fans. We would go to O's games, but we weren't Ravens fans. So we were like, well, we don't give an F.
And they would, I mean, now, like you said, with the sphere, with this facial recognition stuff, you get screwed, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been banned from places. You wait like a year, you slip back in. They don't really remember you. Or there's different staff there, so they don't know what it is you did to get banned in the first place. But with the facial recognition, you're just like, damn, man.
It depends on what you do. Go ahead, Mike.
But wasn't there a bar that you and Miles were banned from, and they still remember you guys years later?
It was the High Dive in Fremont.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was about a 10-year ban.
Decade.
12-year ban.
But we were like, look, man, there's no way on earth they're going to remember us because, again, at least a decade had gone by, maybe more. We're in there for maybe 3 minutes. General manager rolls over. He's like, I remember you guys, man. It's all cool now.
Yeah.
We're like, you remember us?
God.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, I remember when you guys were here. I remember when you got thrown out.
I don't know what I said, but it was worse.
I do.
It was not good. It was one of those moments.
You?
Where I look back and go, that wasn't.
No,
okay.
But it was.
That was not okay. It was justified, but not what came out of my mouth.
It kind of, in the moment, it was justified and funny. Looking back, not funny or justified. But at that moment,
justified, but not when it came out of my mouth.
Well, years ago, Miles, I thought we weren't going to get into a Sounders game. You were smoking a cig close to the section, or close to like the front, and the people out there were like, "You can't smoke that cigarette in here," and you just launched into her weight, and that was okay. And then like other people started coming over. I was like, "Dude, let's get in the stadium."
Damn, man!
I know.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, not good, not good at all.
She was pissed.
Oh, I know.
She was like calling over. Like there was other people walking over. It's like, let's just go in.
I know.
What did he say?
What exactly would you think I would say? It's just something really.
Oh, I can't smoke this because it's unhealthy, but you can eat.
Damn, dude.
Right, I know.
And then ironically, we walked in and he bought us foot-long bratwurst.
I have many regrettable moments.
Do you regret what you said to that woman at El Gaucho?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all.
Okay.
We didn't get kicked out of there either.
We did not get kicked out.
She liked me.
Did she?
I think she did.
I don't know if that's the right word. I think she was amazed by you.
That El Gaucho's closed down. They moved down the street.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Man.
Yeah, there's a comment I said years ago. I'll just say at a Las Vegas casino, it was not funny, and they asked me to leave pretty quickly.
They asked you to leave the casino?
Correct.
Were you staying at that casino?
We were not. A little
Okay.
later in the night, and yeah. You know, just one of those ones you kind of let out, and just to this day, that's probably not something you should joke about. Oh, 21-year-old Ted did.
Yes. That's all right. Last time we were down in Sacramento, I'll wake up one morning and Steve's not in the hotel anymore.
Oh, yeah. I had to answer the phone.
Found out that he was not allowed to stay in a hotel anymore.
Oh, yeah. The phone rings. I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, what, man? Because, who calls you on a hotel phone?
At 8 o'clock.
Hi, can I speak to you?
Right, if you don't have a wake-up call plan, when that thing rings, especially nowadays with cell phones, it's terrifying. It's like, oh, Christ, what happened?
But I didn't think anything bad had happened because blackout, right? I know I feel like crap. I know I went drinking, whatever. So I pick up the phone and, is this Stephen Hill? Yeah, this is him. This is the general manager. I gave her name. And then in my head, I was like, yeah. Do you think you could meet with me this morning? I was like, yeah, man, give me like 10 or 15 minutes. I feel like ass. I just need a cup of coffee, whatever. I'll come down. I'll meet you. She was very, very polite. And I mean, my head is splitting. And I knew something bad was going to happen because when I'm getting off the elevator to go meet this woman, KISW had been out, so he's getting on the elevator to go up. And he looks at me through a crowd of people and just shakes his head slow. And I'm like, oh, man. So I go in there. All I heard, because she didn't get a lot of details, but she was, you caused quite a disturbance at the hotel. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like me, man. She's like, okay. So 5 minutes conversation. I said, look, man, do I need to check out? She's like, oh, yeah, you definitely. But the worst part of this is we're in Sacramento. So I call up to my wife. I'm like, hey, man, you have the American Express card. She's, well, yeah, you told me to keep it. I said, right. I need you to do me a favor. She's like, what's that? And here it comes. I need you to book me a different hotel room. What did you do? I'm like, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, that had to be horrible.
Oh, dude, it sucked. She was so unhappy. I'm like, look,
That hotel had rats. There was lice all over the pillows. I couldn't take it anymore, honey.
Oh, yeah.
I need a new one.
Instantly, what did you do?
Miles got us thrown out.
Mike, actually, the rats were across the street everywhere.
God, that no joke.
Everywhere.
Sack down.
What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
To know that the work that you're doing is going to make a difference, not just for your patients, but for your community. Do things that make you happy. And that's my drop the mic moment.
I love that.
Dental sound bites.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Return to Who Sucks Less. That's coming up after emails on our question, what are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? I don't know anybody in the world that would honestly want to take on the job of being president of the United States.
Oh, God, no.
There's a lot to it, obviously. But if you do happen to become president of the United States, you give up a lot as far as your personal freedoms of being an American in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know all the things that you can't do once you become president of the United States. So, for an example, could you walk into a McDonald's and order food and sit down and eat it as a meal?
By yourself?
No chance.
With a group of people. Bring in the Secret
Service. No, because Obama would run into like Five Guys, but he always got it to go.
You have to get it to go. That's one of the things you cannot do. It's almost like when, who was it? Was it Phil Hartman that played Bill Clinton?
Warlords
on Saturday Night Live, and he just went around like eating nuggets and from other people's plates. The reason being is he cannot sit down and eat. Now, a lot of these guys will go in and talk to somebody in a diner, maybe sit down and share a coffee or whatever. They cannot go to a restaurant and eat a formal meal.
Right.
So here are 10 everyday things that the U.S. president is not allowed to do while in office. We'll start with this one. Have a normal phone call or a video chat with any friend that you have.
Yeah, it has to be a secure line, I would think.
The Secret Service goes to great lengths to plan, coordinate, and secure all of the president's activities. For example, talking to a friend over the phone or video chat can only be done at a certain time and on a secured line. Whereas anyone else, you just pick up your cell phone, call your friends without a thought, call your mom without a thought, call your dad, say, hey, man, what's up? Hey, look, buddy, I'm going to go back home to wherever, Honolulu or Texas or wherever you're from, and let's hang out. You have to plan that days in advance. And the Secret Service has to notify the person involved that you'll be chatting with them and then secure the line before you chat with them. All right? Next up, you're not allowed to go to the movies. Going to the movies is generally not an option. They have to bring a film to the White House. Any new release comes to the White House if they want to watch the movie, and they have their own personal theater that they watch it in.
That's not, I mean, look, how many times has a movie come out and you're like, man, I want to see that, but I will wait 3 weeks for it to show up on demand,
well,
right?
Like a lot of the times, the crowd does enhance your movie experience. Often more times than not, it's an annoying situation. But when people are all laughing or cheering or clapping or all those things, you have your bucket of popcorn. I'm sure that they have snacks for the president.
I would demand, look, if I can't go to the movies, we're getting top-notch
There's a private
popcorn.
chef. Thrill?
Yeah.
Can you hit the breaking news bed?
Give me 1 second here. Breaking news bed. That's right. It's so breaking that, where the hell did it go?
Breaking news. Miles, what was our top story today we used for this question?
Joey Chestnut was banned from the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest.
Now, I'm not saying I came up with it, but Netflix was listening. Just announced over an hour ago. Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day. Chestnut, Kobayashi, Unfinished Beef.
You're kidding me.
Unfinished Beef.
Live on Netflix.
Wow. You literally said that yesterday.
I know.
Put it on Netflix. I would watch it.
So now ESPN's screwed. Nathan's is screwed. They could totally screwed the pooch on this one by letting go the biggest superstar in competitive eating.
I mean, look, at this point, you're right. You would think somebody at Disney would, like, hey, you know what? You better get the Cobra.
Right.
You better get the
also
back
you're
there.
bringing back the second biggest. Maybe, questionably. But with Kobayashi, I mean, I know the woman does well. But as far they're the
Sonia Thomas,
they're the three big names, right?
But you got to remember, she is everybody has different
specialties.
Specialties. So she's amazing at chicken wings.
She's wings, right?
Yeah. But they're the two undisputed kings of the hot dogs.
Okay. And that's the thing about this is that, look, it's not a team sport. These are individuals. And now you have the two legends going head-to-head. That's the one people are going to watch.
Right. Next up on the list, we touched on it, going out to dinner. Going out to dinner can be done, but the Secret Service has to go way ahead of time. They will need a lot of sufficient notice so that they will be able to secure the restaurant. Also, it's been reported that the president may not be able to eat outside of the White House unless an official food taster is present to make sure that the food is safe to eat. You can't just go like, I'm in the mood for Thai food tonight. Let's go out and get some.
We had, it was years ago, but we had Tipper Gore, who was then the vice president's wife and the wife of the then Russian president, I believe, can't think of his name. Anyway,
Gorbachev? No, who was in there? It was Yeltsin.
Okay, so his wife and Tipper Gore, and then a few other quote-unquote dignitaries, whatever. But we are told that they are going to come in for lunch. And they did not tell us that day. They told us about 8 weeks in advance. The Secret Service had to vet every single person that was in there. We all got vetted, and even day of, we knew what they were going to eat, but we could not start preparing their meal until Secret Service showed up. And then even then, as we're plating it, they didn't have a taste tester, but a guy from the Secret Service stood facing us just on the other side of the line, watching everything we did. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're still alive. We didn't get the chance to poison them.
This is going to sound silly, but you ever seen the movie about the president that dies and they put in a fake guy called Dave?
Dave, yeah.
So, some of the stuff I know about the White House is just from that movie. The fact, you call down, and it's it's like a full kitchen. You can get whatever you want. I mean, I grew up in D.C., so I know about the secret tunnels already.
Yeah.
Because there's always been rumors that certain presidents would go in and out or have ladies stop by.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, they have everything you could want. But, yeah, he just can't. I don't know that you could just go out and grab a burger.
Okay. Now, here's a good one for you. Maybe you guys can figure out the answer to this question. So when Gerald Ford, when he was not president anymore, he decided that he was going to go to a ranch, I believe, either in Montana. I cannot remember where he moved to. So he went and he got ranch property. Ronald Reagan also bought ranch property. George Bush bought ranch property. George W. Bush bought ranch property. When they retired, when they were done with the presidency, not that they didn't have another home, but they all wanted a ranch property with a residency on it. Do you guys know why?
So that they can get outside and walk around?
That has a lot to do with it. But the main primary reason, they are allowed to drive on their property.
I see.
All right.
Once you become a president, you are not allowed to drive. Driving is definitely not an option. The president is driven in a highly secured vehicle by an individual who has undergone extensive training to prepare for any emergency situation. Dr. Jim Ronan, who is an author and professor of political science, notes that all locations, like Camp David or on personal properties, the president is able to take a walk. He is able to ride a bike. That was George W. Bush's preference.
Always.
Also Biden's. Or do other simple tasks. One of the biggest restrictions that former presidents have cited is the loss of driving privileges even after leaving office. They say as a result, Reagan, Bush, they enjoyed riding around their respective ranches while in office, as Secret Service allowed them to drive around the secured property.
Fun times.
What else can you not do if you're president of the United States? You cannot attend your child's performances or any sporting events. Another drawback cited by some former presidents is the impact on their immediate families. For instance, attending a child or grandchild's dance recital or sporting event would involve such extensive security preparations for other attendees and participants, it's just basically essentially out of the question.
It's not worth it.
It sucks for the kids, too, man.
Yeah,
one of my buddies, he went to Sidwell Friends for a couple of years, which is super fancy private school in D.C., but that's where Chelsea Clinton went. So some of his friends that I know, they were there when she was there, and it was basically if she wanted to go to a school dance, they had to the security measures were kind of crazy.
Sure.
So she couldn't even just decide to go, and then she felt bad, so she just wouldn't go to a lot of the stuff.
Some presidents' children attended school right in the White House, complete with a classroom and playground because of all the security that is required if they do attend a traditional or private school. So
homeschool.
Back to what you're saying. Use personal technology unmonitored. As technology continues to advance, the Secret Service has to be aware of all new security threats. A more recent restriction has involved personal technology. Specifically,
President Obama's BlackBerry and President Trump's Twitter account. Both were advised to discontinue, or at least heavily curtail their usage after assuming office. In 2018, it was reported the president cannot block people on social media because that goes against the First Amendment.
Sure.
Social media is often thought of as a place to freely share ideas, but not when you're the leader of the free world. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube all have banned President Trump either indefinitely or for set periods of time based on the Capitol stuff and all that.
Sure.
But traditionally, as this stuff rolls on, they would prefer presidents not be on any of these platforms. From a personal standpoint, the White House can make a statement.
But the White House can. But
they would prefer the presidents not do
yeah, I mean, it's just smarter.
Yes.
I mean, look at our jobs, right? There's certainly, I gotta be careful of some stuff I put on my personal Twitter.
Absolutely.
Right?
What can you not do if you're a president? Ever use a commercial airline. If the president ever had the aching desire to take an American Airlines flight, the Secret Service would reply with, no can do. The few normal things the president absolutely cannot do, flying. Presidents cannot do most of the things regular people can do, but with a lot more restrictions. When you have Air Force One, why would you want to deal with the hassles that come with commercial airlines anyway?
Yeah, I was like, that's a deal.
I'm not sure what the deal is after they are out of office. And a couple more that are just bizarre. Presidents are not allowed to clean their office. They are discouraged from cleaning anything or throwing away anything. Under the Presidential Records Act, they are mandated to hang on to things that an ordinary person does not. This includes emails.
It's a Safeway circular, guys.
This would drive all of us to be inbox zero people. Everything must be meticulously sorted and cleaned by other trouble. White House staffers before it is tossed.
Well, you keep a clean inbox.
I do. Yes,
I'm always shocked.
And finally, open the windows. The POTUS cannot open their windows on a beautiful spring day. Former First Lady Michelle Obama told Stephen Colbert, I want to do little things like, open a window. She was anticipating the end of her husband's term, but for security reasons, no windows can be opened in the White House or the car, except for one exception mentioned by the former First Lady. One day, as a treat, my lead agent let me have my windows open on the way to Camp David. It was like 5 minutes out. He was like, windows open, enjoy it. It's freedoms like these that normal people often take for granted.
I bet you. You're riding, for whatever reason, you're riding in the car with the president, right? You're that important, or you're his old buddy. You fart. It's a bad fart. My money says the president says, open the goddamn windows now, and that they at least crack them.
So what are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Carrie. Welcome to the men's room.
Well, hello.
Hola.
That was the best greeting I've ever gotten.
Ever. Man, you're around some horrible people. But I'm glad we could be there for you.
That's great. Well, I called with some great news. I just heard from my beer supplier that at our Enumclaw Chamber of Commerce beer walk this weekend, we will be serving the Men's Room Black Raven IPA.
All right. Wonderful. When you say we, are you part of the Enumclaw Chamber of Commerce?
I am the executive director of the Enumclaw Chamber of Commerce. This is our event.
So you had something to do with this?
I had something to do with this.
Oh, thank you. Right. We really appreciate that. Hopefully people will enjoy it. Everyone else seems to.
I hope it'll be good.
Are you guys blocking off streets?
Oh, yeah. So we block off almost all of Cole Street. We have 25 of our downtown core businesses that will all be serving beers, cider, and seltzers from the PNW and beyond. And we were so excited when we found out that we were going to be able to host the Men's Room IPA as one of our features.
We're excited now, too.
So what do you have to do? What's the legal deal on that? Do you have to have a beer garden, a roped-off area? I know that in Washington State, they got to kind of treat you like an animal if you want a beer.
Right.
Is that still the case?
Well, it is still the case, but I apply for a special license, and our attendees get a special wristband and a tasting glass. And they stroll up and down Cole Street in beautiful downtown Enumclaw, tasting all these fabulous beers.
Is that
the only caveat is you have to stay inside with the beer.
All right. Is that like how you guys kind of close down on Sundays and stuff in front of the Rainier and everything? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you're familiar with our downtown core.
I am. My picture on Instagram is me with a shrimp cocktail at the Rainier.
Well, I love that. I feel like you should come down and be a guest scorer at our beer walk event this weekend.
I'll tell you what, I would, but I'm going to be in Austin.
What's actually at the wedding?
So it is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday?
It's going on this weekend, Saturday, from 5 to 9 p.m. There are still tickets available, and we're easy to find in front of the Enumclaw Chamber office or down on the other end of Cole Street in front of Dr. Osman Harding's office.
Okay. That is excellent. But
That's a very cool event.
Now, Carrie, we understand that you are the executive director of the Enumclaw Chamber of Commerce. Very upstanding citizen, but still. What about today's question? Is there anything that you are not allowed to do anymore, even if it's a matter of because of your job? You know what I mean? Like, my brother can't gamble because of his job. Normal people can gamble. So is there anything by taking executive director job like, okay, but now I can't do blank?
Well, I do have to kind of mind my public appearances.
You're right.
Could you stumble into the Yellow Beak at 1:30 in the morning and get a beer before last call? Would that be a good look for you?
I do stumble into the Yellow Beak quite often. Those people are my good friends, but no, I definitely try to keep a really clean public profile. But the funny thing is that the one thing I can't do anymore is drink beer.
What?
So I hold this huge event, but I can't drink.
What? Because of the job or some medical reason that you can't drink beer?
Medical reason, gluten-free.
Oh, man.
I'll have some ciders.
Yeah. What's wrong
I'm
with
just
that?
going to have tequila when I'm done.
Okay. All right. Is this an elected position that you're, or is this appointed or volunteer?
This is not an elected. It's not an elected position, but I do report to a board of directors, and I'm really, really proud of this job.
Okay. Well, awesome. We are so happy you're having the beer. Thank you for doing that.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
There you
good.
go. The executive director. There you go, Mike. You're the only one from Enumclaw, and look what happened there. See there?
Look what happened. We're on the map.
What? Apparently so. What are you not allowed to do anymore and why? Or what do you not do just because? 206-803-ROCK. That's exactly what put Enumclaw on the map.
That's why people...
Nothing else.
That's it.
Nothing else, Mike. That is why
Nothing
people
else.
internationally know of Enumclaw, Washington.
Tourist, very much a tourist, world tourist destination.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Honestly, Cole Street's great on a Sunday day. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm sure of that.
You should go, Mike.
Yeah.
I should.
Hopefully, the weather gods are wrong about this weekend. They typically
no kidding.
shoot for the forecast a few days early. Hopefully, by the weekend, it'll clear up. It's supposed to rain. So.
No, but that's great, man. That's awesome.
Yep.
Very cool. Hello,
Let's drink it outside. Great.
Got to drink your beer inside.
Jesus, my bad.
She literally
just
said it, Ted.
Will you please go back in?
She just said.
I'm going to get thrown out of Enumclaw.
And she invited you down. You're going to end up getting invited down and thrown the hell out on.
He's supposed to judge, but we had to kick his ass out.
Yeah, like he just kept walking out of every bar with his beer like, those are rules.
Hello, Joel. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, guys.
Hola.
Yeah, how's it going this beautiful day?
All doing great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I got an interesting story. A few years ago, my son turned 21, I turned 50, and it's been a bucket list kind of thing. And for the last 20 years, I knew this date coming up, and I told my son I was going to take him to Las Vegas to celebrate his 21st and my 50th. Take him down there, maybe get him laid and get wasted and do all the things that good fathers do to their 21-year-old kids. They started getting close. Well, his girlfriend came up and said, "Hey, Joel, we can get you tickets for like a couple $100 for two people." And I said, "That's great. Go ahead and book them." We show up at the airport. His girlfriend and her friend show up at the airport too. So there's four of us. That wasn't part of the plan. So I went along with it, and we went down to Vegas and stayed at the Hooters Hotel. Girls ran out of money, and so they went upstairs and was crashing out in the room. My son and I stayed down and was gambling down at one of the tables and started calling the pit boss, who really looked like Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. And he, he was getting totally irritated at us and said he was going to kick us out. And I said, "You couldn't kick us out because we're staying here at the hotel." And he says, "Watch me." So we let the Uncle Phil thing fly a couple times. And he goes, "All right, that's it. You're out of here." So we started walking across the street to the MGM, and this cute little girl was riding a bicycle out in front of the hotel. She approached us and said, "Hey, you guys looking for a date?" And I said, "Yeah, matter of fact, my son's turning 21. Here's my room key. Why don't you guys go take care of business? Here's your money and have a good time." And so we all went up there. I stayed out in the hotel, and my son evidently figured he wanted to take a shower before he messed with this young lady. And our rooms were adjoining, and the girlfriend heard him in there with the lady and came outside and attempted to bust down the doors. Well, made a great big scene, and the security, probably 10 security guards, come rushing up there and put all of us in handcuffs and kicked us out of the hotel. We ended up spending the last 8 to 10 hours and sleeping on the floor of the airport in Las Vegas. So
why would you buy a hooker if your girlfriend's on the trip in the next room?
No, his girlfriend.
Well, I know. Why would you pay for it? Why did the son okay with it? That just seems like you're asking for trouble.
Well, I know why the son's okay with it. My dad's paying for me to have sex with her. Like, that part I get.
Did they stay together after that?
They're not together now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great big ice throwing thing in the airport and all that type of stuff. But, the girls weren't supposed to go. It was supposed to be just him and I. And I didn't even know they were going to go till we showed up at the airport and they were there. So
that would piss me off.
That would piss me off to no end.
I'm sorry. I understand they want to go down and celebrate with you guys, but if you guys had a trip, father, son,
Vegas,
50, 21, right. Vegas, like you guys go do your thing. I would never think to latch on to that kind of trip.
No.
My significant other was doing something with their mom, their sister.
I wouldn't want to.
No,
that's the other part.
You go. I don't want to know. Go have fun. Yeah. That's the whole.
Well, my brother. I mean, honestly, he just did it this last year. He turned 50. My niece turned 21. So he had told her when she was like 12, they do that. So she held him to it. Their only funny story is that they were at a sports book all day and they went to see Tosh, and my brother fell asleep.
He's so weird.
Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less, and we've got your emails on the way next to the men's room at KISW.com.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who's Next Last coming up, but first time for a few emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Do one from today on what you're not allowed to do anymore and why, guys. Ola, so far I've had to give up cigarettes, gluten, and sugar. I've also had to severely cut back on salt and alcohol. Being healthier sucks monkey, you know what's. That from Big Pun in Kennewick. As we move on to the birthday shout-outs.
I think and that happens. It seems like almost everybody at a certain age. There's just certain stuff.
Yes.
Or you just got to severely, like he's saying, cut back.
Right. Let's see here. What else we got? Let's see. On Liquor and Horrors, gentlemen, today is my 25th year on the Spinning Rock. Can I get a Homer Simpson fish sandwich? Thrill Shotgun Gets, and Coach Ted giving me advice on turning 25. Love the show, guys. Thanks from your loyal listener, CJ in Bellingham.
Fish sandwich. Are you sure?
Get.
All right, 25. Wow. Thought you were going to shoot again. 25's a great age, man. Honestly, I feel like 25 to 30, that's the sweet spot, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Nobody's giving you a hard time. You're in your 30s. I don't know what your private life's like, but I'm guessing you're not married or have a kid yet. Get out there and party. Plus, you still bounce back pretty strongly. There's stuff I wish I could do now that I did in my 20s. Like go out and get banged up on a Wednesday.
Patel says my beautiful wife Cindy's 34th birthday. Can she get some green beans, a Pat Sajak, and the Dirty Germans talking about her staining wood for her online crafting business. Thanks, guys, for all you do. That from Jamie.
Green bean.
What?
Green bean.
Okay.
Green bean.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Yeah, the only word you will be stating tonight is because we're going through the back door.
Yeah, what's the Germans talk about so much?
Staining wood.
Yeah, staining wood.
Staining?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you call yourself wood, I'll stain you.
Yeah. I prefer my wood polished.
Yeah, and also the stains don't come out.
Gentlemen, I want to give a birthday shout out to my best bud Brock, the rootinest, tootinest heavy equipment technician there ever was. Can we give him all the farts and Miles with some dad jokes? Thanks, guys. You're the best. That from Alex. Okay, dad jokes. What did Delaware?
Shorts?
A brand new jersey.
Okay. All right.
Brand new jersey.
Delaware.
Oh, yeah, that's
brand new jersey. A 14-year-old boy woke up to find a skunk in his bed. Believe it or not, the room smelled so bad the skunk left. What does a Polish girl get on her wedding night that's long and hard? What does a Polish girl get on her wedding night that's long and hard? Well,
I don't know.
A new last name. Good day, fellow dinosaurs. Last year, I failed in a spectacular way to not make a birthday request from my lover. I hope to redeem myself at least slightly today. I'd like to wish Chrissy a very happy birthday. She's a unicorn of a woman who tolerates my shenanigans, and I love her like a fat kid loves cake. So please give her an uh-oh look out and a happy Chinooka, maybe a drop the beat. Thanks, guys. That from Dan in Tacoma.
Uh-oh, look out.
Happy Chinooka. Drop the beat.
Guys, birthday shout out for the most handsome devil on the planet, Noah. He is 38. He deserves to be recognized and spoiled. Thanks, guys, from Megan, dealer's choice there. Mike on the sound effects. Hey, guys, it's my future husband, Rainier's birthday today. He's 41, getting married on the 29th of this month. Can he get the captain talking about marriage, and Mike as Ringo talking about marriage as well, and Miles with maybe some getting married jokes. That from his lovely Mrs. Kate, a.k.a. River.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. Congratulations on your nuptials, as marriage is a beautiful and sacred union shared between two individuals whose love knows no bounds. And that's why the old Capitan has avoided getting married. My mustache is like an amusement park. It offers rides to everyone. In fact, Betty Crocker will have to play a game called Wicked Witch in the West, where she rides my womb broom and screams, "I'm melting." She even hires blue monkeys because she's a freak like that. Crunch berries.
Hey there, it's your friend Ringo. Marriage is a wonderful thing. It's kind of like that quote from about being like a box of chocolates, only instead of not knowing what you're gonna get, you don't know why you're in trouble. It can be a laundry list of things. You left the toilet seat up again. You got drunk at a family's house again. You woke up again. It's magical. Cheers, friends.
Oh, God. All right, married dad jokes there, Rainier. Did you hear about the two spiders who just got engaged?
No, what happened with these two spiders that got engaged?
They met on the web.
They met on the web. I knew it was a web.
At the beginning of his speech, my best man stood up and said, "A best man speech should not last any longer than the groom performs in bed." He then looked around the room slowly, turned to me and said, "Thank you very much."
That's pretty good.
But please always remember one thing about your significant other getting married. Never make fun of your spouse's choices, because you are one of them.
That's true.
And guys, my wonderful husband Scott is 50 years old today. He is an adoring dad to two daughters, loves riding Harleys, and listens to your show daily. Could you please send him a birthday shout out? He would like a fish sandwich, some turtle sex, and a talk from Coach Ted on how to enjoy this new decade. Much appreciated, guys. That from Jen.
Too hard to get a fish sandwich?
How old is he, Miles? 50?
50 years old.
Woo! All right, 50 years old. I'm sure somebody in your family, as you got a wife and two daughters, so somebody got your card already that says over the hill because you're 50. Now listen, Coach is in his 40s, so 50's not over the hill anymore. We're going to keep pushing it back till I get to a number I'm happy with. But I think 50, you got to go out and dominate, right? At least this year. And people go, "Why you act so crazy, man? You haven't been crazy in years." You go, "'Cause I'm 50. Celebrate.
All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Now, the Men's Room wants to know, who sucks less?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Less. Stephen Thrill, you bring us three stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It's up to us to determine out of the three stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the debate already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yeah, and we'll call this one How to Not Behave at a Children's School edition, all right? So let's start with this story, fresh off the presses. Now, you might remember a few months ago, a 57-year-old second-grade teacher in California named Wendy Munson, she was arrested when she was found to be teaching drunk. That's right, she was teaching drunk. And when we say drunk, we're saying she was hammered. Her blood alcohol level was more than 2 times the legal limit, even 2 hours after the police were called.
They say what she was drinking?
I don't know. No one physically saw her drinking. They just know that she was pissed drunk, so I don't know. But then just yesterday, the DA dropped the charges because while it's highly inappropriate, it's not illegal to teach drunk. Good news, teachers. Not illegal to teach drunk. Tip one back and start yelling at those kids. Now, 2 criminal charges could have been for DUI, for driving to school drunk, and child endangerment. But investigators could not prove that the children had been endangered or that Wendy was drunk when she arrived at school. And as silly as this sounds, her defense was that she was drinking while she was teaching, got her off the hook. All right, so they could not prove that she was drunk in her vehicle. So the defense was, we're not saying she wasn't drunk. We're saying she got hammered at the school. So, of course, Wendy is not going to get off scot-free. The school's not commented, but she has been fired. She no longer appears on the school directory, and parents do say there's a new teacher in place. And if you're wondering, she wasn't sipping a Mai Tai at the end of a long day. The cops were called at 8:20 in the morning.
Oh, my.
8:20.
So she lied about driving drunk.
Well, of course she did, but you couldn't prove it. So they had to drop the cases. Now, speaking of schools, a high school crossing guard outside of Boston, he was jailed twice in the same day after he attacked a woman and her child with a portable stop sign before then pummeling a news crew outside of the courthouse where he'd just been arraigned. So, Luis Chavez, 68, he was charged with 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and 1 count of assault and battery for kicking one victim. The initial incident unfolded on the street outside of, believe it or not, Tauntaun High School, where a female driver stopped at an intersection where Chavez was stationed about 7:30 in the morning. Now, she later explained to authorities that she was briefly distracted because she had to sneeze, forcing her to delay so she could quickly blow her nose. That's when the crossing guard walked up to the passenger side window and began yelling at her to continue driving as the woman's daughter sat between them. When the driver did not move fast enough, Chavez took matters into his own hands. Quote, he was yelling at her while her child was in the vehicle. The crossing guard then put the stop sign stick through the passenger window and started swinging it all around the car, calling the woman names and told her that she needs to get out of there before the sign struck the daughter in her arm. All right. Now, the mother, who did not give her name, said she was shocked by the man's aggressive behavior, saying, quote, I was like, you need to calm down. He reached in my car and started jabbing me with the stop sign, and in the process of him trying to reach me, he was hitting my 12-year-old. Now, that's when the woman got out of the vehicle to confront the guard, and that's when Chavez threw the woman to the ground, dragging and kicking her repeatedly. Again, this is your crossing guard. Now, the woman was treated at Morton Hospital for minor injuries, including bruises and lacerations to her arm. The good news is the child was not harmed, but he was arrested. And while a judge at the Tauntaun District Court granted bail, ordered him to return next month to face charges. But when he walked out of the courthouse, his temper got the best of him. So video shows him lunging at the camera crews that were waiting for him outside while the woman with Chavez tried to hold him back and urge him to relax. But Chavez didn't listen and began pushing and shoving his way through. He was also shown trying to kick one of the news photographers while hitting another cameraman and throwing a stick toward his targets. Later that night, Tauntaun police showed up to arrest him again, this time on charges of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and assault with a dangerous weapon in connection with the dust-up outside of the courthouse. Anyway, he was granted a $250 bond. He was released the next morning. The judge ordered him to undergo a mental health evaluation and meet other pre-release conditions. The school district confirmed he's no longer a crossing guard outside of the school.
Okay.
Good call.
Okay.
And then finally, this story's been making the rounds. The Wisconsin man who rushed the stage at his daughter's high school graduation to keep her from shaking hands with the black administrator was charged with disorderly conduct. Matthew Eddy, 49 years old, he disrupted the May 31st ceremony at Baraboo High School. Moments after his daughter Elise's name was announced, she went up, collected a diploma, began shaking hands with school officials. In a police interview, this guy Eddy claims that he and his daughter had past issues with Rainey Briggs. That's the guy that he shoved away from his daughter, and the whole school district plus the superintendent. Now, he stated that he wanted to prevent Briggs from having the satisfaction of shaking his child's hand, so he went on stage to prevent that from happening. Asked if he was remorseful for disrupting the ceremony, he said, yeah, but only for his kid's sake. Meanwhile, the victim in this, Briggs, he told police that Eddie grabbed his shoulder, pushed him backwards, saying he was not going to touch his effing child. That's what Briggs told investigators and said, I did not know who this man was until the incident happened. So what happened? Eddie darted out of the audience, bounced up 6 steps to the stage, shoved Briggs off the receiving line before the administrator, the only black guy on stage, could congratulate the teen graduate, all right? So the ceremony was briefly derailed by his actions. So Briggs is seeking a restraining order against Eddie, who was confronted backstage last week by someone else, a school resource officer, and someone from the police department. Anyway, he's named in the criminal complaint, charging him with disorderly conduct, which is a Class B misdemeanor, could face up to 90 days in jail with a maximum fine of $1,000. Like I said, the things not to do at school edition.
Okay.
And what was look? I've seen that video 100 times.
Yeah.
What is he saying now? He already had beef with that guy.
He said, I already had beef with this guy, and they disrespected my daughter, etc., etc. Meanwhile, the guy's like, I don't know who she is, and I certainly don't know who he is.
Yeah, I mean,
issue with the school. This guy's the superintendent, so he's like, look, if she had a problem with the school, that's between the school and you guys. I oversee the school, but they don't bring me this crap.
I don't know what his reasons are. I have my own suspicions on this one.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. I will say this. The crossing guard in Massachusetts who attacked the mom of the 12-year-old and then attacked the cameraman later on, he sucks the most.
He sucks the most. I
cannot
agree with you
believe
there.
the bail was so light to let him out twice in one day within a 24-hour period.
It's unreal.
That's crazy. The teacher in California who showed up drunk. Yeah, she showed up drunk. She taught second grade drunk. I'm sure she doesn't have a job anymore, so that is obviously punishment for her.
But it's not illegal.
It's not illegal, but in this instance, I know damn well that she was hammered when she drove her car to school.
For sure.
At, 7:30 or whenever she got there, right? So she put other people's lives in danger, drove through a school zone, parked at a school. So to me, that sucks, even though she was not busted for that, but I know damn well what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know what this guy's up to, who did not shake the guy's hand, in my opinion, I think he sucks the least based on the other two stories. Do I think he's a racist? Absolutely. Do I think he had ulterior motives in this? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I think he told the truth why? No. I know why he did it. But in this instance, I think he sucks the least. That's just my opinion. I don't know that to be truth.
Yeah. I mean, she could have pounded a pint of 151 in the parking lot.
I mean, she could have. She could have done that.
I just, the way that guy approaches that superintendent and just like he knows him and just grabs his arm and moves him off, like it's embarrassing for the daughter and it's
worse for her.
Right.
You know?
And I'm just sick and tired. Like, this stuff is not okay. Stop touching people. Like, that one just really pissed me off. So I'm going to say drug teacher, going on the theory that she drank in the parking lot, sucks the least.
Okay.
I go with you on that, even though I agree with Miles that she was probably drunk on the way there. They could not prove that. And what she did inevitably was not illegal.
Well, here's the other thing, too. I mean, dead honest, like, you could, in theory, she could have mixed a cocktail, drank it, and then did some shots. And, I mean, it takes time.
Right.
That's why,
settle in. Like, you can put a vodka in your coffee or whatever.
Right. I mean, that's why sometimes, too, right? Like, you'll be taking shots at a bar, and you're like, I feel fine. And then, 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, my God.
Yep, been there.
I need to leave. Debate continues on Who Sucks Less. If you follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, the shot of the day is coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health. And Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size. Because it all adds up to something big. A healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Odyssey.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
For those in the market for flavor, there's Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, a flavorful drink that's a modern twist on a Mexican street classic, with 4 vibrant and refreshing flavors: pineapple, watermelon, hibiscus, and cucumber lime, made with a splash of real fruit juice. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas are perfect for any fiesta, small or big. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, boldly authentic, vibrantly flavorful. Drink responsibly. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas flavored beers imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hibiscus contains juice only for color.
I really think a lot of it is just honing in on what your natural interests are, starting small with that too in a more realistic capacity, and then just growing from there. And your passions will lead you.
Ooh, okay. Wait a second.
Right? There you
so
go.
We have
Soundbite. Soundbite.
Yes, that was good. Okay, we're going to grab that.
Dental sound bites, created for dentists by dentists.
Do things that make you happy. And that's my drop the mic moment.
I love that.
Dental sound bites.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, Dakota minutes. We'll drink a toast for the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. Researchers say phony news portals have surpassed legitimate news sites.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
Right, because it's more enticing. It's more of what you want to get mad at, so you're going to dive into it. It finds the smallest nugget of truth that it can, and then just pushes on it as hard as it can. Echo
chambers are a lot more fun than just harsh reality.
100%. If you want to believe how terrible the world is, it'll tell you just how terrible it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's also, I don't know. I mean, we've gotten to a point now where it's like people just say stuff, and it's like they say stuff and they think they're like getting you somehow or whatever. It's like, well, there's nothing to back up your joke about let's say mail-in voting.
Right.
It's like, to me, it's like, I know you're an intelligent person, but like, why are you saying that? Well, there was one kid. It's like, shut up. You sound dumb. And mail-in voting is awesome. That's why you have such a great turnout, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right? You have all the time to do it. I mean, I remember last election, the ballot box I went to was stuffed. I called. They said, all right, we'll send somebody over. But, like, you take time to sit there and figure it out.
Yeah, really scrutinize everything that you're looking at.
Also, Mike, you know what else we got to go back to?
Hit me.
The voting booth. If you mail-in vote, your home is the voting booth. The point of the voting booth is you don't have to tell everybody who you voted for.
That is a fact, my friend.
Jesus.
Just read it on Twitter later.
Yeah, no
I'll post it there.
It's just shocking to me. Like, I get celebrities and stuff, right, giving an endorsement, but, like, I don't know. It's some people, it's their whole identity.
Oh, no, that's it.
And that's really the sad thing, is it is their entire identity.
Yeah.
Like, do we really have to do this? Come on, gang. A tourist destination in China has installed toilet timers.
Man, I saw that.
Oh, didn't know.
No, I don't want to be a part of that, but I saw it. It started, in the women's bathrooms, I believe.
But that don't bother me.
I mean, depending on your situation, man, most people, we have an average time it probably takes us, but some days it take a little longer than others.
I admit that I'm a bit of a camper. I take plenty of time in there. I read emails. I do camp out in there.
But hey, if you do that in China, be like, Mike, you've been in there for 12 and a half minutes. That's the thing. It displays it so people walking into the bathroom can see how long you've been in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it doesn't display it to you. It's on the outside.
Well, what if you're just having a bad day or you're sick?
Everyone will know.
Yep.
Ted's been in there for 24 minutes.
It might be able to give newer patrons an idea for how long you've been in there, so how long they can expect you to be.
I don't know, man. Don't time my poops.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you've been in there for 5 minutes, I know that you're going to wrap up here fairly soon.
But you don't know. Like Ted said, he maybe has a bad gut, man. He might be in there for the long haul.
Sure, but then by then we're having a conversation. I've heard him fart, we laugh, and then he says, "Man, I'm having a bad time in here. You're going to be waiting for a minute."
I think what they should do to give you a better idea, particularly with stalls, is don't show how long the current person's been in there, but have a timer that says how long ago the last person left. Like the toilet seat's going to be warm, or that last person was in here for 20 minutes. Suit yourself, so you can make a better judgment on what stall you want to go to.
See, and I want a corresponding clock on the inside of the thing that I can hit a button when I go into the bathroom that tells the guy in the stall how long I've been waiting.
Right.
Come on, dude. I got to go.
I don't know.
Folks that moved into a neighborhood located next to a landfill are starting to complain that it stinks.
Yeah, well, it's going to get warmer and stink more.
Yeah, in summertime, it's a landfill. Do the math.
Exactly. That's fun.
I mean, there's probably a reason the price, the house was cheaper.
Yeah, we got a deal.
Yeah, good work, everybody. Look, given our job as radio personalities, we have to be orators. We have to find nice ways to put things and different phrases to use to make us sound classy and sophisticated. But not everybody. I mean, we do our best, I guess. We're kind of bad at what we do, so I'm going to educate you guys.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10. 10 phrases that instantly make you sound classy and sophisticated. It's too easy to just call someone an idiot. If you really want to make it count, say this instead. That innocuous statement gives me pause. It enrages me to the point of slipping my stockinged foot out of my wingtip and flogging you with it, much in the same way the jockey took his riding crop to Secretariat in the last furlong at Churchill Downs. You buffoon.
I wish I could remember all that.
Mm-hmm.
That is quite the mouthful.
That's not really being nice if you end it with buffoon.
I know.
Buffoon. So these are phrases that instantly make you sound classy and sophisticated. It says instead of saying it was a pleasure to meet you, they say to say it was a pleasure to meet you instead of the hurried nice to meet you.
Oh, come on.
If I say it was a pleasure to meet you, you either made a good impression or you're attractive.
Yeah, I feel like you truly mean it when you say that. Nice to meet you. It's just a courtesy, But yeah, pleasure to meet you. Yeah, you dig a little deep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like generally if it's another dude, like if it's, I don't know, like you're at a house party, whatever, you meet somebody, it's just like, hey, man, that's a great hang.
Right.
I don't know if I would see you again. We can switch numbers. I don't know. Just say that was good hang.
Good hang.
That takes us to the next one that I kind of hold in the same vein. It says instead of saying okay, gotta go bye, you say I enjoyed spending time with you. If I did, I will tell you that. Like, hey, dude, it was great getting to know you.
Yeah, totally.
If I just give you a bye, it's like, all right, well, yeah, we had fun. Later.
It is a pleasure for me to leave this conversation.
Glad we can end it early. Let's make plans that never meet up.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, man, I'm doing a thing. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Well, even sometimes you meet somebody and you do want to meet up with them. I did it a few months ago. But, I never texted that guy back. I had stuff going on.
Sure, yeah, I get it, man.
I'm like, I meant it when I said it, but I don't know.
Oh, Phrases that instantly make you sound classy and sophisticated. It says instead of jumping straight to venting, use the phrase, I could use your advice on something. That to me is not venting. If I wanted your advice,
Correct.
I'd say, hey, I need your help with this. If I'm going to vent to you, I might go to you and say, dude, can I just bitch for a second?
Yeah, I mean, venting is, I don't want your opinion. I need to get this out of my system, right? To me, venting's the same as puking with food poisoning. Like, I need this to leave my body.
That one is just wrong.
Yeah. I don't.
But how do they phrase it, Mike? I need your advice?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm with you. That's literally the opposite of venting. Like I told you before, my buddy's a lawyer, so instinctively he will take the other side. And sometimes I just go, hey, I am just venting. I just want to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
Right. We hear this one a lot in business meetings and political speech. Instead of saying, I don't know, say, that's a great question.
That I have no answer for.
Right, and then you immediately move on from it. Great question.
You coming over tonight? That's a great question. Hey, man, you want to go to the game later?
That's a great question.
Instead of saying, you're wrong, say, may I offer a different perspective?
No.
That sounds a little condescending in a way.
It really does. If you phrase it like that, like, okay, who's the a-hole?
Okay, Mr. Educated, enlighten me.
I mean, yeah, if I said that to somebody, I don't know.
I feel like I'm looking for an argument.
Mm-hmm. It just sounds condescending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and if you're going in with that, that means that what you're disagreeing to is an opinion. It is not a fact that they just got wrong.
Right.
Oh, no, Mike, come
if
back.
They get a fact wrong. I believe you're well within your rights to say that's just wrong.
Correct.
Now, am I
I'm
here?
with you.
Hello?
Yeah, we got you back. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. If somebody's just dead wrong about something,
they're wrong.
Right. And depending on how intense the subject matter is, like, you might be like, actually, you're completely wrong. Or sometimes I'll just be like, no, man, you got that backwards or whatever, you know?
Right. That's okay. People mistake things all the time, but a different perspective, say, have you considered this? Have you looked at it this way? Here's where I come from on this particular subject. Like there's gentler ways that you can offer your own perspective without, like Miles said, being that condescending. May I offer a different perspective?
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. These are phrases that instantly make you sound classy and sophisticated. They say, instead of saying, ooh, cool, say, that's interesting, tell me more. The problem with that is it implies that I want to hear more about what you're spewing about.
Yes, it does.
Right.
So be careful.
And what is this list to make you sound more sophisticated?
Mm-hmm.
Classy and sophisticated, that's right.
I don't know. To me, again, I'm going back with Thrill. Some of these just sound demeaning.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Tell me more as this blank stare on my face doesn't change.
Right. I'm surprised you do anything interesting. It's basically what it's saying. Oh, that's it. That's actually interesting for a change.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Don't drop actually in there.
Lame.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. Usually I tune your ass out.
I didn't know you were past just reading comics.
Which I don't find interesting. They say, instead of saying, sorry, gotta run, side note, who says sorry, gotta run? But instead of that, so say, please excuse me.
Well, if you say, please excuse me, I'm expecting you to go to the bathroom.
I expect you to return.
Not leave my home.
Yeah, when you say, hey, please excuse me, I definitively believe you are going to return. Got to take a phone call, got to take a leak, I don't know, but otherwise, I got to go.
Or you can excuse yourself from a meeting or from a group or something like that. There's a conversation going on. Something pressing happens. You excuse yourself from it. So that makes sense, but that's it. Sorry, I got to run.
Sorry, got to run.
I got to run, guys. My kid's soccer game starts in 5 minutes.
I mean, I guess I'm just not sophisticated or fancy. I'm just like, all right, man, I got to get out of here.
I got to bounce.
Yeah, it's time to leave.
Phrases that instantly make you sound classy and sophisticated. They say, instead of saying thanks, say, I appreciate it.
Again, it's situational.
Yeah.
It's situational, man.
I'll say both. Somebody opens the door, hey, thanks, I appreciate it.
Because that's one thing. But if it's like the cashier and you ring me up, thanks.
Thrill, I agree with you. There's certain times where I use appreciate it because
a little extra effort was put into whatever this thing is. And you go, no, man, I appreciate that.
Right, like, for instance, you just do something nice for me, I say thank you. I'm walking down the street with a lit blunt, and you go, there's a cop 2 feet away looking for stoners. I go, appreciate it, Good looking out.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how or when I decide, but that's a bad example. But there's just certain times I use
That's
appreciate.
your example. I'm walking down the street smoking a J.
Right, got a red cup full of White Claw. Hey, man, there's a cop around the corner. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. And good looking out.
That's exactly. Well, actually, I'd probably go, oh, no, S? I'll turn it around.
Oh, damn. They say instead of saying just sorry, say my apologies instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say that in my emails that I send at work.
Emails, I think you see me. Sometimes I'll text that too, especially if it's something that I just forgot. Like,
Yeah,
my
for sure.
apologies. Like, dude, I forgot we talked about that. And I'm never going out with you, dude. Stop texting me.
Right.
We hung out at a party once, you freak.
Yeah, I forgot that you asked me, but I was going to say no. Does that help?
Got the umbilical.
Well, what are you doing? I'm sitting on my couch. None of your business.
No.
Instead of saying, what can I do for you? Say, how may I assist you? If you want to sound like a robot, I guess.
I'm going to say, what am I talking to Amazon or something like that? Lord, man.
All right, I guess that one. But that just feels like a natural thing to say to somebody. Somebody setting up for a party. How can I help out? What can we do?
How may I assist you? By asking me questions normally.
How may I assist you is a corporate phrase that goes from the corporate world into the real world. When there's a customer that's coming in, how may I assist you? That's corporate telling them to say that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to throw one out there, Mike. Instead of saying, what can I bring to the party? Say, what can I purchase for you?
What can I not make at home, yet bring for people to consume?
And then this is the number one phrase that instantly makes you sound classy and sophisticated. It says, instead of saying sure or yeah, you say, I'd be delighted to.
But I don't mean it.
Right.
I mean, look, if I'm truly delighted to do something, I would state that. But 98% of the time, I am not delighted to do that.
Right.
No.
Can you record this for me? I'd be delighted to. You're
It's
a
a
damn
lie.
liar.
Damn lie. Absolute lie.
if VD came down here and said, or the office and said, record something, you said, I'd be delighted to. A, I know you're lying.
Yeah.
Or B, it'd be like, what's going on? What did you do? Why are you responding that way?
Why am I in so much trouble?
Yeah,
that I'm now.
that you're now being like, I would love to. I can't wait to.
Yeah.
Like, what
Now,
happened?
You will. Like the answer is yes, of course I will. I've got the time and I've got the ability to. Yes, I will. I'm not delighted to.
No,
I'm
and
not
generally,
delighted to go out and do the doggone yard work that I'm asked to do, but I will.
and my honest response to those types of questions.
Have my timer.
What the hell was that? Nobody knows. What'd you do, Ted? Your face just gave away your guilt. What the?
Sorry. There's a story about the golf influencer Paige
Spiranak.
Oh, I wonder why you clicked on that.
What's that on Bro Bible?
Yeah, she's gonna offer. It's a video of her eating hot dogs. All right. So I just
For
thought
real?
I'd give her a quick look. I didn't know the audio was gonna go through the board.
To watch her eat hot dogs.
Yes.
The editor pot is up,
my
Ted.
God.
That's your computer.
Okay,
I'm coming
all right.
through your computer.
God damn.
You know, on that note, I will read this text that came in.
All right, look, you caught me. I wanted to see a blonde woman with great boobs eat a hot dog.
Somebody actually texted in, when's Mike coming back to the studio? Leave the woman a bedpan or two, a bag or a box of snacks, and the TV remote. She'll be fine.
I'll be in on Friday, but
All right.
right now I got to be there with the wife. Come on now. A DOT
get her
contractor
bedpan.
she still has the bedpan.
I can hear
A DOT
you.
contractor in South Carolina issued an apology for something displayed on one of his digital signs.
What was displayed on a digital sign?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. All right, have we made it to drinking time?
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
Welcome to a trip you'll never forget in Denver, where summer sunshine sparks mountain adventure, where neighborhood strolls lift spirits sky high, and where music takes center stage at Red Rocks. Catch a baseball game at Coors Field, step into new dimensions at Meow Wolf, and take flavor to the next level under the stars at a Michelin restaurant. Denver, always welcome. Plan your trip at visitdenver.com/summer.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is.
Damn, man.
So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Hey, Mike, to my credit, even Mike knew right away. Oh, the one on Bro Bible?
That means he's already watched it.
Drinking time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed.
I'm listening, Mike. Hold on. No, I'm not. I'm not paying any attention to you. God, I know that was awful.
Damn, man.
She's hard to deny.
You should almost be the shot of the day just for that. But today we're toasting Joey Miller.
The video, Ted.
Joey Miller and Matthew McNelly of Carroll, Iowa. Now, police there, they got a call about a possible break-in at an apartment building, and Joey and Matthew, they were the primary suspects. Now, understandably, they wanted to hide their identities while committing a crime. So, did they wear hoods? No. Did they wear masks? No. Even, bacalavas? I'm saying
Baklava? Or is that the dessert?
Baklava is a dessert. The thing you own is a baklava, I believe.
Okay.
Anyway, the cool-looking scarf that you put up over your face. None of that stuff. What they chose to do to hide their identities was draw on their faces with permanent marker. Now, sure, it may have made them hard to recognize during the crime, but permanent marker, as the name suggests, is notoriously hard to remove, which left these two idiots extremely easy to be identified by the police who were looking for them. And yes, the police found them, and they were arrested, and then nicknamed Dumb and Dumber.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so somebody called the cops and said, hey, man, someone's trying to break in. All I can tell you is that they got marker on their face, and their car...
Was it fully covered? Or did they just have like fake mustaches?
Show a picture, man. I don't know what they did, but I'm like, really, man? So yeah, they couldn't wash it off, and the cops, they figured it all out. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Real quick, Ted, a lot of people are thanking you for turning them on to Paige eating hot dogs. Apparently a lot of people, just honest to God, the texts are blowing up.
I mean, you're right. I was talking to Mike. It was just too big of an urge. I was like, I just got to see her eat one.
Dude, I want to see it. Yeah. Hello, Kyle. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hello.
Hola. All right, Kyle, you understand how this here game is played?
I sure do, Thrill.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, Hit Me with Your Best Shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
How about Bite Me today?
All right. Got to give credit to a texter out there regarding the shot of the day. Mm-hmm. It said those guys are not the sharpiest of criminals. Well done. Well done.
Good call.
All right, Kyle, here is your story. We go to Japan, where something may have gotten mixed into a smoothie sold back in March at a shop in a city I can't pronounce. Now, the object is possibly one of 8 servings of 200-gram blue papaya smoothies prepared at the Karatachi Space. That's a souvenir shop and cafe set up inside of a train station. Now, according to the municipal government there, an employee working in the kitchen was cutting frozen bananas around 4 p.m. when the tip of something came off. It's suspected it may have gotten mixed in with the bananas and served over the next few days. So anyone who bought a smoothie between the evening of March 3rd and March 5th, they may have noticed something strange. They were asked to call the city's commerce and industry brand promotion so that they could take care of it for them. Now, the question is, a tip of what may have been mixed into the smoothies? Was it the tip of a knife blade, the tip of a finger, the tip of a cutting board, or a metal tie? So knife blade, finger, cutting board, or metal tie, a piece of what ended up in everyone's blue papaya smoothies?
Well, my gut says tip of the finger.
Kyle takes the finger.
That is
Always.
a loaded statement.
Mm-hmm. Ted?
I don't know why. I think it's the tip of the knife. Hey, those bananas were frozen and hard.
Yeah. I'm going with the finger. I'm going with Kyle.
All right, we got two fingers and a knife.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good knife.
What was accidentally mixed into that smoothie? Was it a knife blade, a finger, a cutting board, or a metal tie? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow, today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories by me on Profile This. We got to Japan for a shop that was selling smoothies, but however, there was an employee who caught the tip off of something the night before. They were worried that anyone who had a smoothie in the time period when he was working might have some fragments in their smoothie.
Correct.
Question is, was it a knife blade, the tip of that, the tip of a finger, the tip of a cutting board, or the tip of a metal tie?
And Kyle, that is the very question that we posed to you, and you came up with finger, and then Miles Montgomery also agreed that it's a finger because you guys are sick, macabre bastards. It was not a finger.
No.
Sorry, no finger in the smoothie, Kyle. Otherwise, they charge extra.
That's how they stir it.
Ted, you said the knife tip.
Yeah,
Right,
broke off.
where's that?
Froze banana.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Strong.
Yeah.
Well, just because the banana's frozen.
Yep.
Also, just a heads up, be very careful if you ever try to cut a frozen candy bar that's got caramel.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like a brick.
Now for all TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Again, just to recap, yesterday we talked about it, the top of the show, Joey Chestnut banned from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Kobayashi was kicked out of Major League Eating years ago. Labor Day weekend, a new tradition starts on Netflix. You're welcome, Netflix, for the idea. I will take a small 7% of the viewing money.
Nice.
And, they're going to have a hot dog showdown on Labor Day.
That's a great idea.
Now, is it just going to be the two of them, or is anyone else in the competition?
I believe it's just those two head-to-head.
I believe it should be. Why did Kobayashi get booted from Major League Eating?
Same kind of thing. I think he was taking, deals from another funding or something, or he wanted more money. Like I said, that guy that runs that is not... doesn't seem like a good dude. He wants to control everything, and it's
right.
you're lucky. I'm giving you this and that. But, let's be honest. Until Kobayashi, that contest was not that contest.
Right, the contest has been going on forever. But when you had Kobayashi show up and you eat so much that it's unbelievable, it makes international headlines, then people paid attention. The truth is, basically, Kobayashi and Chestnut made that thing worth anything.
Yeah, and I also feel honestly, that guy kind of doing that, you're right, Miles. I think ESPN, ABC, the mouse would be upset. Then also, if I'm Nathan's, I'll be like, what the hell are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
We need him in here.
You don't have anything under contract that said he could not do that because you don't have a contract with him.
Right, pay him more.
That's all.
That's how that works, right?
Right. Well, that was kind of the issue. If I remember that documentary correctly, I think it was a lot of it too. Was Kobayashi was like, "Look, I'm the cash cow. You're keeping most of the money."
Right.
Which, again, will shock people. When you pay people, they'll actually stay around and do a good job. And look, you can pay people more, right? We can all make more money, right? I mean, I go blue in the face saying that to people, but yeah, it's the honest God truth. I don't know, I might still watch it, but I doubt it.
No.
Well,
there's going to be a new champion, but when you
cares.
look at the difference in the hot dogs that were eaten last year with Chestnut compared to whatever
who's going to win this
year, you'll see just how big the difference is.
And I don't think you'd be as excited about watching it if you know that Kobayashi and Chestnut, they're going to, save that for another day. Save it for Labor Day because the real battle is now going down between
the only person that Chestnut's beats is himself from the previous year. Yeah. There's never been a neck and neck with him.
Actually, the last couple of years, it's been pretty. It's gotten closer.
Okay,
but even if somebody was ready to take him down this year, that'll have an asterisk, right? It'll be
Well, you didn't beat the returning champ.
Barry Bonds, doesn't he have an asterisk next to his home run record?
He does.
Or LeBron James and Lakers. I like LeBron James. I think he's better than Jordan. But they won that championship in the bubble. Asterisk.
Right. Yeah. That's how it goes.
You know what I mean? Also, the only issue I think for Chestnut and Kobayashi is just July 4th is a pretty open sports day outside of hot dogs and baseball games. And Labor Day weekend is probably a good college football game on.
Oh, yeah.
So interested to see what time they do it.
Probably start at 9 like they do now, and college football on the East Coast doesn't come on until noon.
Yeah, do they start at 9 a.m. at the Nathan's one?
I believe so, yeah.
Also, the Nathan story is amazing. I watched, one of the Foods That Built America.
Yeah.
So he was working down the boardwalk at a fancy restaurant. They had hot dogs. It was like their cheapest item, right?
All right.
Him and the other guys on breaks would eat them, but it was kind of like people didn't want to eat it. They didn't trust hot dogs because people put a lot of weird stuff in hot dogs. That doesn't happen anymore, folks, by the way.
Right.
I'm not saying it's great stuff. I'm just saying
it's not as bad as it used to be.
Right. So then he ends up thinking, I'll just make a hot dog stand. And he makes a hot dog stand literally just a block down the boardwalk from and the guy that ran the hotel, just blow hard. So he basically just undercuts him. And then he got doctors. He started giving away free hot dogs to doctors and nurses and cops. Because he was like, if people see doctors eating hot dogs, they will know it's okay and safe to eat them.
That's why I give my doctor a cigarette.
Yeah. And then I want to say the hot dog.
4 out of 5 doctors smoke Winston.
Yeah. And then the hot dog eating contest, I think, is like one of his friends or whatever, like, wonder how many I could eat. I mean, it's just crazy how that stuff starts.
And now it is what it is. That's pretty cool, though.
It is. And I told you, Oscar Mayer, the dad had the company. Their whole thing was our hot dogs are made with the best parts, blah, blah, blah. And then in like the 60s, I want to say, he basically took all the money they had and built the Wienermobile. And the dad is like, I'm going to kill you. You've just killed our company.
That's a tough sell, man.
And the Wienermobile took off. Let's see. Seth Meyers, he's going to lose his late night band and budget cuts. The HG band, basically they've been on since Seth Meyers took over the program. Again, that was started by Fred Armistead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who used to be on SNL. And Fred used to sit in with the band for a while and play with them.
When he first started.
Yeah, he kind of started the band. But basically, NBC extended Seth Meyers for like another, I want to say 8 years or whatever. Oh, I lost my place. But either way, they were like, we'll renew you right through 2028 at the 1238 program, but they're cutting out the whole band. A lot of late night shows are having trouble.
Yeah, they did when Fred was on there. Obviously, they have chemistry from SNL,
correct?
And they would banter back and forth. And Fred, for his credit, man, he was a punk rock kid. He's a punk rock drummer. He actually pretty competent behind the kit. But the guests they had, I mean, Sean Kinney from Alice in Chains went down there and went out to New York and did drums for a week. I don't know if Matt Cameron's been on, but those are the type of people that they would bring in. Like,
which is cool.
The drummer's the leader, kind of like Max Weinberg.
Right.
And then, you talk to that guy, and so he would do guest appearances with the lead member, so to speak.
For whatever reason, I just don't watch late night shows as much anymore. Do they still go back and forth? I don't feel like the band leader has that role has lessened.
It has. I mean, at least for the few I see, right, there's not as much discussion at all.
Yeah, like Jimmy Fallon's a little easier because it's the roots.
It's the roots.
Like they're already a giant established band that people love, and some of those guys. I mean, Questlove's the character.
Sure.
What's the lead singer? Black Thought. Like he's pretty good. Yeah. But so I mean, I think they use them a little more. But I just don't remember outside of having a celebrity sit in that Myers go into the band that much.
No, not at all. I don't know that he ever speaks to them, other than when he just introduces that they exist. How you doing, fellas? Oh, good. And then that's it.
I was watching something the other day about Conan O'Brien's career, and then I guess later that night I saw something about Springsteen. I had forgotten that Weinberg started out in a real band.
East Street Band.
Yeah, he's the drummer. I don't know why. I was like, the F is Max Weinberg doing with Springsteen? So he's like, dude, remember that's where he started.
The band.
I was like, yep. Mm-hmm. No, that was crazy.
Kind of hard to drum for 3 hours every night too. Of all the instruments to play for 3 hours,
right?
That's
no kidding.
That's a workout.
You don't really see a lot of fat drummers.
Yeah, there's a reason.
No,
right? I mean, those
are constantly going.
And when you're practicing, it's the same thing.
Is there any famous fat drummers?
I mean, John Bonham got a little heavy later on in life, but that was from drinking.
Beer, yeah. Famous fat drum. I'm going to Google that. As dumb as that sounds, famous fat drummers. I'm trying to think of it.
I mean, I guess Questlove's kind of a big dude.
He is, but I get the feeling he'd be bigger if he did not play drums.
He's the lead, but not necessarily the lead drummer, is he?
Yeah,
he is.
Okay, he is.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying, as you said that, because when I used to always watch those shows on MTV, like The Diary of this band or that band, you're right. It seemed like the drummers were always super fit and like the most focused on like working out and stuff. But also, that you're right. That's a hard job to do that for the whole time. Let's see. Last night I watched a little bit of a show. Also, I watched a little more. What's that?
Quick side note, I Googled it. one of the first things that pops up is, can you think of any fat drummers? So obviously this question's been asked before, right?
Yeah.
The only name that comes up is a guy named Nick Barker. So he's been in a bunch of metal bands, Cradle of Filth, et cetera, et cetera. They say he's a large dude. I don't know if he's a fat dude, but the point is, he's the only name that shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Drummers, fit dudes. I did watch the Mariners. They're still rolling along, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they're fun to watch. So Vice has a series that they just started about basically about different kind of gangs, the United Gangs of America.
Okay.
Right. So I think they started with like an MC. I can't remember if it was like Hell's Angels, Banditos,
Sucker
Gypsy
MCs, I believe.
They're not sucker MCs, but motorcycle clubs, not gangs. I don't know why they ended up on that show. But last night, it was this is more of a modern one, and it's talking about the gang up in Chicago that started out years ago, Gangster Disciples, right? So they were kind of famous in Chicago. They when the crack comes out in the 80s, they really start pushing that. They make all this money, and that gang got massive.
Yeah.
But then as you get into like the 2000s and stuff, and we'll all remember this from Baltimore. Like that's why Baltimore was always such a dangerous place, because there wasn't like the Crips
gangs
and the Bloods. It was just a matter of, we got these two corners.
We have territories.
Yeah, they tried for years to get, and I know they're there now, but for years they couldn't really get in. And I remember one of the quotes I heard is, Baltimore is crazy. This is from a gang guy. It's like, we're trying to get a foothold, but when you're making that much money, the cats in Baltimore are like, I don't care what gang you're in. I'm going to put a bullet in your goddamn head. This is my corner. I mean, they
right. So the same thing like happened in Chicago, but some of these stories, this story was kind of interesting. It's usually when you see stuff, it's always like the 80s or 90s. I mean, they're just going back to like mid 2000s all the way up to 2019, and it's wild how much social media impacted. And just these guys, and same thing, they had splintered off. They're all Gangster Disciples, but they had splintered off in these groups, and they back right up to each other. And some of these guys would just take videos of themselves going into their enemy's turf and just kind of, just being like, F you, we're over here. Right. It's also the time when drill music out of Chicago is getting really big. Most people know Chief Keef. And so a couple of these guys are real gang. I don't know about Chief Keef, but like some of these dudes that were kind of famous at the time, they're real gang members.
Right.
And it's just unreal. I mean, the violent level, but also just they put everything on social media. And I think people forget when you're in that life, it's just disrespect. And the lengths they would, everything. That's the funny thing too. Not funny, sad, but like they would go to graveyards and urinate or try to defecate on these guys' tombstones just to disrespect them more, which obviously the other guys...
Right, escalates.
Yeah. I mean, one guy got out of Cook County jail, and they shot him on the steps.
Damn.
He got released from jail, right? And you're just like, they still haven't solved that one, which is wild. You figure there's got to be cops around a jail.
You would think.
But, yeah, pretty good show, pretty interesting. Also, I think good for people... especially younger people, teenagers, early 20s, if you're ever getting kind of drawn into some of that stuff, like, listen to some of these guys. I mean, by 26, 27, they're like, I would like to do something else.
If you're still around.
Correct. But they're like, I can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Seems like you join those organizations, you're pretty much joining for life. You don't, what's the old joke? Like, you don't meet a lot of retired gangsters.
No.
You know what I mean? And obviously... I think there's other organizations you can join where some people are doing the stuff and some people aren't. Mm-hmm. But that one seemed pretty hardcore and everything. But pretty damn interesting show. I enjoyed it. I'll probably
What's the name of it again?
The United Gangs of America. It's a new series because they have a whole series just on like MCs. This one's kind of different ones. And it's kind of, it's interesting too. And just honestly, like I know about social media and stuff, but seeing it kind of closer to real time, you're just like, why would you do that? Mm-hmm. And then also, they even say, like, look, even these guys, as tough as they are, right? Like, they're still human beings, and they're still getting massively influenced. Like, getting clowned by everybody else on the internet, or guys dropping lines and songs that, get super popular and go platinum, and the guy's rapping about somebody he knows killed your friend. Like, there's only so many ways.
It's going to get to you, yeah.
Yeah, there's only so many ways it can get out there. All right, let's see. What are you going to watch tonight? Well, you do have some NBA basketball back on. I think I got to be careful here because every time I make a what you should bet on, I seem to send people the wrong way. But the Mavericks are down 2-0, right? But Porzingis had just come back for the Celtics. He was kind of a dominating force. I haven't looked up if he's playing tonight, but he had a pretty serious injury. So if he's not playing, you figure Kyrie Irving has to catch on a little bit of fire and start hitting buckets? I don't know. Luka's just
paying
Luka.
him to.
He could do something crazy, but, even at the end of the day, I don't really care who wins this series. Just make it competitive.
Yes. Yes, agreed. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. Mike's got your headlines coming up in minutes. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's why April chose to vaccinate her child.
I think actually meeting someone who was not vaccinated and now has a lifelong struggle with a childhood disease really cemented for me that it's super important that we as parents continue to vaccinate our children.
Talk to your pediatrician or visit yvaccines.com. Brought to you by Merck.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Odyssey.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
Here we go. An Indiana woman was busted at the Chicago airport with 62 pounds of cocaine in her bag. Meanwhile, a road worker apologizes after a traffic message included the American word for shag. Woman injured after taking dog for a walk while riding in the bed of a truck. 3 kids on a family hike make discovery that definitely does not suck. And a Pennsylvania truck driver gets in the zone. AutoZone. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story to South Carolina, where a grievous offense has been acknowledged. A contractor for the local DOT has issued an apology after a piece of his equipment was used to spread a profane message to local motorists. While the equipment was altered by someone that was not employed by the contractor, the obligation was still ever present to assure the public that stronger security measures were implemented to mitigate the risk of future unauthorized access. All because some Neanderthal had the audacity to hack into a digital sign and change it to read, quote, "effing stay alert."
I like it, man.
Absolutely.
It seems like good advice when you're driving.
Yeah. Plus, it catches the eye. It gets people to actually read those signs.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Shoot, half the time they're more dangerous than not. Handful of times I damn near got into an accident because I look at the sign and I'm trying to see if this road is closed at the time that I'm going through it.
Well, so isn't that kind of like distracted driving? Like, don't drive distracted, but we're going to post this big-ass digital sign for you to read while you're driving.
Exactly. And we do it for everything. All the advertisements that we have out there.
Bumper stickers, billboards, right.
Bet. The problem is text messaging. Like, okay, well, we're reading everything as we're driving.
You're right.
Great work, everybody. In other news, we go to China where a video has gone viral. The video shows security footage of a local shop that features exotic plants and tanks with exotic fish. At one point, one of the employees can be seen staring at one of the tanks as an Amazonian fish begins to rebel against its confines and eventually breaks the lid open and springs for freedom right onto the shop floor. Employees scrambled to contain the animal and get it back into the water, but it sadly did succumb to its injuries that it sustained in its escape. If you didn't see that video, I encourage you to go check it out. This fish is massive.
It is, but you know when you get a fish tank, chances are you're going to come home and find a wood chip on the floor one day. And what was it called, an Amazonian what? It's a big fish.
Just a rare Amazonian fish.
Kind of looks like a big clown knife.
It takes 2 people to lift this thing back up into its tank. It is huge, dude.
I kind of like we called it just an Amazonian big fish.
Just a big Amazonian fish.
The size of that fish.
To Chicago, in the classier of the 2 local airports, Midway, TSA agents arrested a woman for carrying...
Oh, damn, Mike. Midway just catching strays.
It is.
That airport does suck.
TSA agents arrested a woman for carrying a few too many treats in her bag. Her luggage was intercepted at baggage claim after it was determined and confirmed to be carrying 31 pounds of cocaine.
Wow.
The woman was also traveling with another person who fled and abandoned their luggage because they were smart, which also contained cocaine. All in all, the pair were transporting more than 60 pounds of the booger sugar, and the woman was hit with charges, including intent to distribute. The partner in crime is still being tracked down, and the woman is currently outfitted with a monitor.
I will say this. They discovered that at Midway.
Yeah.
At Midway.
Midway.
They got on a plane at LAX. No problem.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying.
So they thought they were halfway to home for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dumb story out of Minnesota. A woman managed to injure herself while walking her dog. Kinda. Thinking creatively, the woman elected to find a lazier way of walking her dog by sitting in the back of a pickup truck holding the leash. She was actually on the tailgate while the dog walked behind the truck. Somehow, during this foolproof stunt, the leash became snagged on a tree branch, which ended up pulling the woman off the truck's tailgate and onto the paved road below. She sustained injuries that warranted a call to authorities, and she was taken to a local Mayo clinic.
Oops.
Yeah.
Look, there are times when we don't want to take the dog out. I feel like it's more trouble to get somebody to drive the truck at a slow enough speed to where your dog's going to walk behind. And then how in the world does a tree branch snag that thing?
Because dogs are dogs.
Oh, 50% of the time I didn't want to take my dog out in the morning. It get raining, whatever. But by the time you get it there, you start walking around. By the time you get back, you're like, all right, let's go. Let's do it. Start the day.
Exactly. And just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth,
there's good news.
we head to North Dakota for a childhood dream come to life. A family was out on a hike when they happened upon something in the dirt. After doing a little excavating, they established that what they had found were prehistoric bones. The dad of the family happened to know the paleontology curator of the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, bet he gets out a lot, from high school, and even had his number, so he gave him a call. After obtaining permission from the landowner, a team went out and dug up the entirety of the fossilized remains to discover 30% of a juvenile T-Rex skeleton.
Wow, man.
I feel like as a kid, you see that in movies and in TV shows and whatnot. It's kind of a dream to be able to just go out in the backyard and start digging and, oh my God, there's a dinosaur bone, let alone a doggone T-Rex. These kids did it.
Is T-Rex kind of like the ultimate dinosaur bone to find? Because whenever, they can mention other dinosaurs, maybe it's even a new one, and you're like, oh, it's really cool. But somehow when they say it's a T-Rex, you're like, yeah.
I feel like for most kids, the first big one is the T-Rex.
I mean, it is the most popular one out there. People love a T-Rex.
Well, the big one is technically a brontosaurus or a brachiosaurus.
Right, but Bronchiosaurus is a herbivore, right?
We like carnage,
but they're the biggest one.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't
Just
eat
from the
meat.
scale.
It doesn't instill fear.
I mean, stardom big, Miles. Come on.
Some vegetarian's going to kick your ass one day at a bar.
Well, a vegetarian could.
Yeah.
But
just like a brontosaurus.
Right, but a brontosaurus wouldn't bite me because it doesn't like meat. That T-Rex wants to eat me.
You don't
Fear.
know. Remember the nature photographer in Africa? It's getting a picture of a giraffe, right? All right. Herbivore, long neck, kind of like a brachio. I think swung his head around and killed that dude. Remember that?
Well, sure, they didn't bite him.
No. Did not bite him. Did not bite him. That's true.
Men's Room Sports. The Mariners held off the White Sox once again last night, winning 4-3 to guarantee no loss in the series. Game 3 of 4 starts tonight at 6:40 with Bryce Miller on the hill. Game 3 of the NBA Finals is on tonight over on ABC and ESPN. The Boston Celtics currently hold the lead in the series 2-0 against the Dallas Mavericks. That game currently underway. As far as your weather goes, more of the same today. Skies are going to remain clear and temperatures are going to drop down to 50 by 5 a.m. tomorrow, before spiking back up to a high of 67 for the day. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Big Dummy. And the head chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids to a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If the last few years have taught us anything, it's that human connection means the world. By connecting with one another, we know we're not alone. By connecting, we feel what others feel. We breathe better, laugh easier, and feel healthier. At Regents, connection is at the heart of everything we do. It inspires our commitment to our communities and to you. Here, health isn't just a you thing, it's a we thing. Regents Blue Shield. Together we health.